What's going on, everyone? I'm looking at the comments here about I'm thirsty. I'm thirsty. Well, I guess at least one of those was me. But welcome to the stream. Uh, Starting a little bit later than usual, and that is because we've got two very special guests joining us tonight. We've got Todd and Andy from 21090. So this is going to be fun. They've each got their own blind flight. We're going to get them through the game. I see Andy kind of filtering in now in the background. Glad you're here, Andy. What else we got going on? We've got some giveaways. Giveaways tonight. First prize, Dragon's Milk Origin. Picked one of these up on the way home today. I was looking for something cool to give away. I was really hoping to grab one of those old fits 7 years that seem to be popping up in the stores, or at least on the local stores' Facebook pages, but didn't have any luck. So I grabbed one of these. These always seem to be a pretty big hit. And it's actually what I'm sipping on here this evening. So first prize, we'll do this bottle. Second and third prize. Okay, second prize is going to be the flight that Todd is drinking tonight, which will reveal itself as we get through the stream here. Third prize will be the flight that Andy is drinking. Same deal. We'll get to those at the end at the reveal. Good stuff. At least in my opinion. We'll see what the guys think here, and we'll see how well they do in blinds. If you're part of Whiskey Tube, you watch these streams, these videos, you know that these two guys make a pretty darn good team. Well, they're not on a team tonight. They're each out on their own. So we'll kind of pit them against each other, see how they do head to head and against the field. And right now we've got Marty and Chris. Marty from Whiskey Knows, Chris from Bourbon of the Week, sitting atop the leaderboard with 6 out of 10. So we'll see how the guys do tonight, see if they can knock anybody down a peg. So I'm going to bring the guys on in just a moment, say hello to a few of you, then we'll get rolling here, guys. Let's see. In first was Corvette Trey. What's going on, buddy? You should have something coming your way either today or tomorrow, according to the tracking that I'm seeing. So I think that's whatever it is you won on the last stream. Randall Erickson, what's going on, buddy? Did you get here at lunchtime? Well, if you're not first, you're last, right, Randall? Corvette Trey, okay. Let's see, Sugar Kitty's in the house. Meow. There he is, Top Jimmy, everybody's favorite Jimmy, sitting atop the leaderboard of Jimmy's. What's going on, my friend? Trey Larkin's in the house. What's going on, Trey? I saw, let's see, who else here? Tim Cornet. What's going on, Tim? It's good to see you here, buddy. Danny Lopez. So thirsty. Yep, there it is. Me too, brother. Roger Reese. What's going on, Roger? There the guys are. 21090. Chris Jenkins. Fritzy. All right. Jeff Wack. Hello again, whiskey friends. News about whiskey. What's everyone drinking tonight? Well, in my Glen is a little Dragon's Milk Origin, the same bottle that we're going to give away here tonight. There he is, the current leader, the current king of the hill. Marty, Whiskey Knows. What's going on, brother? All right. Bourbon Dan, what's going on, my friend? Thought I clicked on you. There you are. Well, there's 107. Did you get that here in Michigan? Probably not. Roman Carter, cheeseburger. I enjoy cheeseburger from time to time. All right, enough chit chat. Why don't we bring the guys on? Say hello. First, Andy.
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. How are you, brother?
I'm good. Thanks for having us tonight.
I'm glad you could make it. I know we didn't get to do audio checks. You sound good.
Thank you. Just finished up a big girls volleyball game, so I was rushing home. Todd's like, "Are you here?" It's like 2 minutes. I'll be on.
Perfect.
So,
well, I appreciate you being here.
Time. Now it's gonna be fun.
Exactly. Makes it interesting. And then we've got
I think it's funny. Andy just gets here and he goes on first. I don't understand that, Tom. What's up with that?
He has a serious Napoleon complex. You're going to find very quickly.
I put all this together and I'm second fiddle again.
Camera is not on him and the attention is not on him. He gets really upset.
Here's the big thing, Andy. Ready? If Marty is the one leading this competition, which we don't really know what we're doing, I mean, this competition's screwed up. What the hell's going on with this competition? I love Marty. Listen, we are not great at blinds. That's one of our things. So we'll see how it goes.
Andy, we'll bring the rules up here in just a minute.
Yeah. But, he said, "What are we doing again?"
What you've got.
I was like, "I don't really know."
Samples yet?
Yeah, I haven't poured them. Is there an order I should pour them?
No.
Okay.
There's not.
Right.
You just pick wherever you want to start. Just kind of call it out, and I'll kind of take some notes while you're sipping through it.
Trey Larkin's having some still Austin 21090 pick. How cool is that?
Oh wow,
very
That's
cool.
old school right there. That was like our first pick ever. That's awesome.
We're going to talk a little bit more about your picks. You guys are on a bit of a hot streak here, and we'll talk about that in just
better
a minute.
Be lucky than good sometime, Tom.
But Andy, the way that the game works is you've got 4 samples in no order.
Okay.
You pick the order you sip them in. You're going to be asked the same 10 questions that we ask everybody else that plays, and here they are. Can you see those?
Oh, yes, I can.
Oh,
so you want to pay attention to proof.
Andy's good at proof. That's one thing Andy's good at.
Whether something's finished or not, whether it's a bourbon or a rye. One of them's going to have a higher age statement than the rest. Which one's the most expensive? Which one's the least expensive? And I go by MSRP, not secondary.
All right.
Which was distilled in Kentucky? Which was distilled in Michigan? So that might be a little tricky for you guys. Now, here's what I'll tell you. As far as the questions go, there's going to be a few of them that have more than one right answer.
All right.
So you don't have to guess all of the right answers. You just have to get one. So
they're all Twix.
Few where you've got better chances of getting the point than others.
All right.
So,
like
and I think I poured up some pretty good stuff. Probably some things that you've had, but probably a thing or two that maybe you haven't. So it should be fun. I think this will be interesting. And we'll talk a little bit while you go through them.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Ty, you can kind of put that in the back burner. Andy, tell me which one you want to start with.
We're going right into this. Let's dive in.
Yeah,
no sample. I didn't do a sample pour at all. All right, let's just do it. Let's dive right in.
Let's jump right in the deep end, brother.
Fail
miserably.
miserably.
This is good.
There's Anthony Peters. I saw Corvette Trey say he ordered it. Yep, he already got access to that Chattanooga pick. Well done there, Trey. Nice. We'll talk about that later.
What's going artfully? Bourbon Scott. Anthony Peters, how you doing?
This will certainly.
What's up, Randall?
Anthony has a better palate. We have different blinds too, Anthony, and the answer probably would be neither. No, it's okay.
Speak for yourself, there,
I'm
Todd.
just joking, Andy. I
So,
don't think
hey,
blinds
guys,
tell you if you have a good blind, good palate.
If there was a Vegas line that's going to, have one of you guys favored over the other one, what's the line?
I think it'd be Todd because I'm good at picking barrels. I'm not good at blinds because I'm not a note taker. So I instantly realized I should have a pen and paper for all these questions. I'm like, shit.
But you're great at proof points, and you're the two good things you are: proof point and age, and there are 4 of those questions. So I think that's good for you. You're very good at that.
Well, thanks there, buddy. I appreciate that. We'll see.
Whether or not we can pick out which one's from Michigan, that's a good question.
No, but seriously, if Marty's, Marty's in the lead, then it can't be that hard. So I think we'll be. So
cannot be that hard. Cannot be that hard.
We'll
Marty's catching strays.
Marty,
he dishes them out too. Trust me, Ty. He dishes it out.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Come on.
So he can handle it. He can handle it.
He can handle it. That's funny. All right, so we're going into this. So nothing on nose. This is all you just taste and we'll try
you can call out notes, Todd.
All right.
No, I'm curious to know which ones you like, which ones you don't
starting
like.
with my X.
He's the king of the 60-second review. He should be good at this. He should be spotting squirrels. So, and then he'll even say what say you at the end and get everybody all excited. So we'll see what happens.
I don't know.
Andy, which one did you start with?
I started with the circle.
Gotcha. Okay, very good. All right, so you mentioned the 60-second reviews, and I want to say that's kind of what got me into your channel.
Oh, nice.
I had discovered you guys a few years ago, subscribed, and then boom, I'm seeing Todd every day. He's 60-second daily review, and he's not missing one. He's on there every day. Do you actually post 300 of those a year?
I haven't. Well, I did at one point. Yeah, it was every day. I think I did that for probably a whole year. I've taken like some weekends. You run out of, as you know, you run out of content, right? So, I would go back to old bottles and do some like revisiting series. Let's revisit a bottle I haven't so I would do that, or I would do challenges where I, but you still
head
to head, and then and when we get new bottles, we review them. But it's hard. So I try to do at least 5 a week. That's what I try to do. And I went through this thinking, Andy and I couldn't get together every, we're just real busy. And so Andy's traveling for work, picking barrels for us. We do our Tuesday show. I said, well, we need to put content up. This was like 2 years ago. I was like, let's do shorts. I started doing them. And Andy told me I started doing them just like pouring it and giving my written tasting notes on a 16. He's like, Andy, no, get in front of the camera and just do it verbally. That'll play better. And it was the right call because I think the algorithm does pick that up better. And so I just said, all right, let's start doing it that way. And I've gotten a little bit better. It's not when I do these 60-second reviews, I taste it. Very rarely is it my first time tasting it. So I'll taste it and have an idea of what I'm going to say already. So Andy, that's the thing. But I think repetition's key. I think people like consuming, they want to just know, what is it? Do you like it or not? What are the points you get out of it? I don't have 10 minutes to watch. Not saying they're not good, but there's a market out there for people who just want quick, dirty, and a lot of reviews. So when they're in the store and they're, plugging in, I'm looking for a, Wild Turkey 101.8 year. Oh, look, this short comes up and this bald guy's got a review. Let me see what he said.
And we did, Tom, we did canvas our Patreons, and we said, look, if the two of us pick the better looking, more articulate one who you would like to do these reviews.
They picked you and you weren't available.
Exactly. And so by default, Todd started doing these, and it caught on. And so we said, hey, if it's not broken, don't fix it. It was taking a long time to do all the edited videos. And so I'm doing all this stuff through, and
oh, shit. I mean, I forgot my Coke. I'll be right back. I have that.
The nature of the beast was when you're getting thousands and thousands of views for 60 seconds, and then you're getting a couple hundred for something that's taking you a few hours to edit.
Right.
We started saying, all right, we do need to do both, but we don't need to do as much as the long format, because times were changing. People like reels; they scroll all the time, so it just worked, and he loves it. So
yeah, it seems like a unique way to build your subscriber base. Because essentially, from the outside looking in, it seems like shorts, regular live stream, and the occasional long form video, which, looking back, was maybe just like the end of the year, like the best stuff and like the Goose Island stuff.
Yeah, we do all the the BCS stuff always blows up, and we do the best of list at the end, and we were doing a lot more of them, but the ROI wasn't there. Now, we also weren't as consistent, and that's what's tough about it. So, but you also have three very distinct crowds. You have the shorts crowd, you have the live crowd, and you've got the people who are looking for the so to put it all together is what you kind of have to do, and it's a timing thing. But so far, it's working. So,
all right. So on the nose, Tom, real quick, I've not tasted any of them. I like X the best for me on the nose, and Triangle the least on the nose.
So you've already nosed them all.
I nosed them all. Okay. Yes. I wanted to go through and see what I get.
Oh, so gotcha. Are we doing them all at once like that? Is that how we're?
I don't know.
No, you'll sip through. You'll take your notes. You'll shout them out, and I'll write them down for you.
Shady will not have any.
And then
I can type them or something. What the hell? Actually, let me grab I'm going to grab a.
This is odd for Andy. He doesn't do this.
Yeah, I mean we do pick. If I'm doing picks, what are your notes? I just pick what I like. So it's my notes are my notes. Let me. All right, I'll be right back.
You go for it.
There it is. All right, so I'll take my first sip on the one I like. The nose. Ooh, I think an O is something. O is something. I'm not going to say it yet, but O is something. Just on the nose, by the way. All right, here is X down the. Cheers, to everybody in the chat. What are you drinking tonight? And let's have fun tonight.
Tim Cornet, 21090. Jason last night stole your thunder. He was sipping on Coke Zero on his live.
Yeah, he stole that from me, by the way.
Jason gets everything first That's just the way it goes.
This is all my thing, and he learned it from me in Kentucky when we were doing a barrel pick. He better said that because he took it from me. This is mine. I coined this many years ago, and Tim knows that.
So I think in watching your content, you guys were kind of like me in the sense that you were into craft beer well before you were into whiskey.
100%. Actually, we started this channel 8 or 9 years ago as a homebrewing channel. So before we even craft, we started homebrewing, and I thought, you know what? Because what did I do to learn about homebrewing? I would go to YouTube and watch videos. I said, well, Andy, we should do that. We've learned some things. Let's start a channel. We had another guy that we were brewing with, and there's only so many homebrewing videos you can make. Like, I mean, it's the same process over and over again.
Yeah.
And then we said, well, let's start drinking some craft beer because we like beer and doing reviews of that. And that's where, yes, we were into the craft brew. We were doing only beer reviews. And then we started drinking barrel-aged beers about, I don't know, 6 years ago.
That's the gateway.
Right? Was that for you too, the gateway?
100%.
Well, all right. So we're on the same trajectory. So then Andy was like, well, why do we love these barrel-aged beers so much? Let's find out. It's the barrels, right? That's imparting all this flavor. I want to start drinking the whiskey. So this was all Andy. What we're doing now would probably never have happened if Andy didn't take that leap, because I was not a whiskey. I didn't drink whiskey. I was all beer.
Yep.
And it was slowly but surely. I think, Andy, what was the first whiskey you gave me? Neat. It was Old Granddad 114.
Yeah,
I don't know why you gave it to me.
You almost spit it back out. And
I almost choked off. I'd never had whiskey before. And he said, Neat, put this down your gullet. And it about killed me. But we kept doing it because, Bourbon County Stout would come out with like filled in larceny barrels. And I'm like, well, I love this, this,
yeah. What's a larceny, ale. Right?
Yeah. And Andy's like, well, let's get it's 90 proof. It's not 114. And I loved it. The first whiskey I fell in love with was larceny small batch. That was it. That was my gateway, right? Andy, wasn't it?
I'm trying, Jonathan. It's hard. Once he starts going, you can't stop that train. No,
what did he say? What did Jonathan say?
He just said, say something, interrupt Todd.
So, Jonathan, good.
Anyway, a little bit.
So that's how, or at least me and Andy, that's how this, and then we started just reviewing whiskey, and now I'd say, Andy, what do you think? 95% of our content is whiskey?
I didn't start as a home brewer. I did that a little bit. Like, I was into the craft beer, and then one of the local places had, you buy the kit, and I'm like, okay, I'll try that. And, I remember brewing the first batch, and it's like 2 cases. Right. So, you drink one, you put a few, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, I got like 1.5 cases of stuff I don't really think is that good.
Yeah, that's the other problem with homebrewing. Yes. We made quite a few batches that sucked, and you got 5 gallons.
I mean, I don't know that it sucked, but it wasn't like, it wasn't particularly good either.
We thought they were so good. And then like we would bottle at the time. We have kegs now. And Andy, remember those ones we would do, and there was like chunks of sediment in the bottles.
Oh,
we were like, ooh. That's not that great.
We went up to Pittsburgh for like 11 years to see the Ravens and Steelers play. We would homebrew beer, bring it up, and our friends would all tailgate. We give it to them. They would drink it to be nice, but it was terrible. Yeah. And we thought we were doing great. We put labels on them, and it was pretty ghastly. But
doing labels, right?
Yeah, that's half the fun. Even the barrel picks that I'm doing now is creating these goofy rock labels, which has been fun. So, but.
I like X a lot, by the way. X to me is, again,
now we don't have this. Do we have the same thing here? No. Ours is different. All right,
100% different.
Tom, I love X, and I think it's a bourbon, and I think it has the best nose. It's got super viscosity. I've got some nice cherry notes on it too. There's certainly oak, on this. I like X a lot. I could drink this.
Like I said, I think I poured you guys some pretty good things here when I was putting this together. All right, so question for you guys as home brewers: what was the best beer you guys ever brewed?
So we would brew things different. So like it wasn't me and Andy. Very rarely we brew one beer. We would brew separate recipes, even completely different beers, right, Andy? So what my favorite is, my best, is very different from Andy's. And you know what yours is.
Well, I'll give you.
I think it's a pumpkin.
I'll give you 2. Yeah. So I did a pumpkin ale that was an English brown ale that was flashed with pumpkin spice, because I think pumpkin beers are way too sometimes they're way overpowering. So I did a really old school traditional English brown ale and just kind of flashed the pumpkin spices at the end. just enough to let you know what you're drinking, but it's not over the top, and it came out really, really well. So that's the Pour Some Pumpkin on me. So I like that. We made a shirt out of it. It was fun. And then I made a big, like, just big boy of an IPA, a double IPA, which was a Todd, what do we call it? The double.
I saw red. I thought it was the
ISO Red double red rye IPA.
Yeah.
So it was a red rye made with 100% X malt, which is just like a red malt.
Red X malt.
And it was fantastic. It was really good.
Were you doing your own recipes, or were you trying to follow like some
own recipes
you put out there?
Yeah, we never did. No, we don't follow anything. I couldn't. I don't follow rules.
That was
anyway,
the great part of the creative process.
Fun.
Is like, you know, you go into what do we use, Andy? What's the brewing software we used? I still use it. Like Brewer's Friend.
Yeah,
Brewer's Friend. And you create it, and it gives you sort of what it should be, and it helps you guide you through the that to us was the great, the cool, artistic point of this is let's create something that it wasn't following a recipe. You can get a box cake and follow a recipe, and it's okay. Right. But if you can actually create something that is your own creation, somebody that actually likes, that's where that's the cool part about it. I think.
Yeah, see, I never got that far. I think I did like 2 of the big giant batches. Maybe it was 3. I don't remember. And then I think the last one that I did that was probably the best one was like one of these little teeny kits. Instead of being in like the 5-gallon bucket, it was like in a like something the size of like a growler. So it only yielded like 4 beers or something. But it was like a Pliny the Elder clone. I'm like, oh, this is pretty damn good.
We've messed with those too. You change things here and there, but you mess with them. Greg, lots of times he did get mistaken for Scott Van Pelt at the Steelers games.
He went to Maryland. I also went to Maryland.
He went to Maryland. Obviously, one more successful than the other. I'm not going to name which one, but but yeah, all the time. Now we also used to do goofy competitions. Like we did one where we had to clone a beer, but we didn't know the recipe, so we weren't allowed to look at the recipe. So you pick a beer, you clone it. What malts are in it, and what yeast strains and what hops, and so that was fun. We tried to do a session IPA. It's just all kinds of weird stuff. But the thing about beer that's fun is you can make a batch in a couple weeks. If it sucks, you dump it, or it's gone quickly, and then you can try something new. Where whiskey is,
it does cost money though.
Yeah, it costs
not
money,
as much
but
whiskey.
No. Yeah. If you added up our beer time bills with our whiskey collection, I'm pretty sure the Wise would prefer we still brew beer.
That's true.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's like to the nth degree with the whiskey.
Oh, look at Christopher said, I stopped homebrewing 20 years after an explosion of a stout all over the basement.
Oh, we've had that happen too.
Great stink. Yeah. That's not.
I may have ruined some clothes brewing a stout.
Oh man, yeah, I remember that. Same thing, Tyler. Yeah, I get that a lot. And the funny thing is, he went to he's a huge Terp fan, and so am I. So like, he was probably, I think, at Maryland maybe 8 years before I was. So that's the funny part.
So are you guys Maryland born and raised?
We are. So the 21090, not Stendo, which some people thought it said Stendo.
One person.
No, it was Dan from
Dancing Goat.
Dancing Goat, the owner. Yeah. He's like, I thought you guys' name was Stendo. It was a cool like 80s rock band. No, that sounds good though too. I like Stendo.
Well, the 9 doesn't look like a D. I'm not sure. I don't know how intoxicated he was, but there's no D there.
I could totally see Stendo in that for sure.
I can see Sten. I'm not sure about this.
Anyway, it's
Sten Poe.
I'm not going to unsee it now.
It's our zip code 21090. That's where we live. We're not very creative. We just spelled out 10.
Well, so. It's interesting. I think the first, I got like a handful of guys that I was doing the whole craft beer thing with for years. And then we kind of, got into whiskey. I would say like around 18, 19, 20 is kind of when it started to get to where, I can have like 2 2-ounce pours of whiskey as opposed to like drinking 3 16-ounce IPAs and feeling like
that's the thing.
The bloat catches up with you as you get a little bit older.
100%.
But anyway, we're starting to get into, the whiskey channels and, probably the same ones that got you guys into the game here, the big ones. And then we're trying to, finding more channels and more channels. And what's funny is that one of the guys in the group, one of my best friends, his name's Todd, and he is the biggest Def Leppard fan.
Oh,
So,
sounds like a cool guy.
so one of the other guys is
name,
like,
great
dude,
man.
you won't believe this. You won't believe this. I'm scrolling through channels and there's this dude and his name is Todd. And then behind him is the Def Leppard thing. Like, I thought he was kind of fucking with us. But sure enough, we found it. I'm like,
That's hilarious.
That's uncanny.
Yeah, that's a total ripoff. I was like, all right, 21090, let's do it in the Def Leppard font, and let's, it just became. But that's kind of how the beer, bourbon, rock and roll thing happened too, because we couldn't decide what we wanted to do. And we're also happy. Yeah, Todd J. See, we were also trying to find out how many other people out there were named Todd.
He was born in the 70s or 80s. I guarantee it, because there's nobody naming their kids Todd now. Like, it is a complete. If you are named Todd, you were born in the 70s or 80s, because they weren't naming Todds. There's no King Todd, right? There's no General Todd. There is Todd, Van Poppel and Todd Bridges and Todd Me and Todd J, and that's about it.
That's a very obscure list, and since I know all of those references,
right.
We're in the same age group here.
Right. I mean, 19. There it is.
God, I wish I could play the George Carlin clip right now. I wish I could.
There you go.
All I get is people named Todd. Anyway, Todd, there it is. I told you, it is a 70s and 80s name.
And you know what? Embrace it, because it's like you guys are going the way of the dinosaurs. You will be extinct soon. There's no way anyone now would name their kid Todd.
So Andy said, I have 3 boys. Why didn't you name them? And I said, I didn't want to do that to them. I didn't want to name them Todd. I love being Todd, but I wouldn't want my kid to be named Todd.
You want to name your kids or wish it on your worst enemy, but it's cool for you.
Todd gets it. Todd gets it. I love it. I mean, it's not a horrible name. I mean, there could be a lot worse names out there. I get it, but we are pigeonholed, and like, if you meet a Todd, you know exactly how old they are.
I call him Toddrick, but it's short for nothing. It's just Todd. It's 4 letters. It's always like, that's just it. Like, it's just Todd. But it defines him. It's like someone who's going to have, like we talked about this today, like white bread bologna sandwiches, a little bit of mayo. Like, that's Todd. Like, you're all American, just Todd guy. He looks like a Todd. He fits the mold.
What's up, LP? LP's here. Anthony's here. Good to see you.
LP, Todd, what's up? A boy named Todd.
There it is.
All right. So Andy.
Yes.
Did you drink yet?
I have drank 2 of them. I'm slow with this. Yeah, I apologize. This is kind of how the blind.
No, dude, I'm not trying to rush. I'm just trying to have some notes on my end to kind of help things at the end.
I love the nose on Circle, I guess, is the 0 Circle. And it's. I think I have an idea of what it may even be, just shot in the dark, Ozzy style. But I feel like I may have a little bit of an idea of what it could be.
That is something else, right?
Which means it's completely wrong, but I'm going to give it a shot. So what the hell?
Well, here's the thing. There's no, if you were to headshot it and say, I know exactly what it is.
It doesn't get you anything.
Doesn't help you.
Doesn't help you.
It does give you cred. And congratulations, but it doesn't help you score.
Yeah. I won't get you far in life, though, either, Andy.
And I like X a lot.
Look at Anthony Peters. This is 100% true. The only person slower at tasting than me is Andy.
Everyone's like,
so true.
Anthony's done 3 or 4 picks with me, and we are the last 2 to finish up, and it's.
I think I know what O is too.
All right, so let's talk about picks. I'm in your Patreon group, and I know that was it last Friday that you dropped the 2 Evernorth picks.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, you posting what the bottle counts were, and it was, what was it, like 330 or 320?
About 330 total. Yeah.
330 total. So we had 2 Green River Bourbon 7-year and a 7-year MGP 51% rye.
And those are pretty big yields.
Yeah.
And, you guys are a pretty good size.
Well, not huge, though.
But go ahead. I mean, the bourbon didn't even make it down to the last tier.
Last 2 tiers. Really.
And the rye sold out before it got out of Patreon.
It did. Yes. It did. And that's
a lot of bottles that you guys move.
It's a delicate little balancing act because last year we did, I think, 4 picks, maybe 5 picks last year. And when we first did our Still Austin pick, we said, no more than 4 a year. Now, we've done how many this year already? Like we'll probably have 14 picks or so this year coming out.
That's a huge leap. I mean,
it is, and it was a leap of faith in a way too, because if it doesn't sell, then your distributors are going to say, well, guess what, guys, we're not doing. So it's been a combination of trying to find something that's unique, but that's really good. And so I have always said that we will, not for all the people who are non-Ravens fans, sorry, but like their mentality when drafting is best man available, best barrel available. If we go out, we want people to not stat hunt. I do all the picks blind because I don't want to know what the stats are. I don't want to know ages or proofs or anything because there are stat hunters, and we get that, but we want people to associate our barrels with our palettes. If you like our palettes and you like our picks, then you're probably going to like what we're doing in the future. Even if our descriptor notes scare them, we did an OCD pick, and I mean, there's things like barbecue chips and smoking campfire in the notes. People were like, that sounds dreadful, and they loved it because it turned out to be really good. David Souza from Corbin Cash said it's the best bourbon he's ever tried, which is like a huge compliment to us. We're like, this is awesome. So we're trying our best to keep, and I don't know if it's just being an idiot savant, but trying to knock them out of the park with just quality barrels, and that's just what we're doing. And so far, we've been pretty good with what we've landed, and the Evernorths were no different. I mean, the rye itself, Dan wanted to keep. He's like, if you guys don't want this, I'll keep it or split it with you because he had just gotten in that day. And it was that good. So, you know, it was, again, sometimes better to be lucky than good, but a little combination of both, I guess. And we've been really fortunate that the picks we've been delivering have been outstanding. But then again, like tomorrow, we've got 200 bottles dropping of our Chattanooga. And so there's only a handful of barrels being released this year, but it's not something that is widespread across the country. And so some people are going to have to take a flyer. I've never had it before. So we also have to try and hopefully convince people to take a chance and say, hey, if you hadn't had a bottle, try it. It's really, really good.
And I think that's, you know, the main upside for me, at least in being in certain groups, is them dropping picks of things I've never heard of, things that aren't available in my state. So I'm relying on, hey, you know what? You know, Jason and Scott really like this, and they liked it enough to put their name on it. Let's give it a try. So that's how I've discovered it within the last like 3 years, just, you know, all kinds of brands that I would have never been exposed to.
Tom,
otherwise.
you're going to have to just come on a pick with us then. That's how that's going to be then, right?
Well, I was just, you know, saying or thinking in my head, I think we were like the week after, maybe it was 2 weeks after Andy was there at
Evernorth. There you go.
I was there with Dan, the Turks.
Oh, right. Yes. That's right.
Yep.
That's
Jeff and Kelsey.
You guys got 3 barrels, didn't you?
Yeah. And, you know, it was one of those things. I think we went in knowing that we were going to get 2.
Oh, okay.
And
good for you.
They had just gotten in those 18-year light whiskey.
Light whiskey. Yeah.
So we got one of those. I'm assuming it's going to be a real short barrel, though.
Well,
Did you guys know what you were doing? Did they blind at all or no? Like you knew
we went in and we told him, you know, Dan, that we wanted to do them blind. So Dan started with bourbons. I think we drank through like maybe 6 or 8 different bourbons.
Okay.
Kind of caught our breath, and you know, we ended up blinding. I think it came down to 3, and we liked 2 of them so well that we ended up picking 2 of the bourbons.
What were they? Were they Green River or what were they?
One of them ended up being a Green River, and you know, those Green River barrels that those guys got their hands on have been the best Green Rivers that I've had.
I agree.
So I'm so excited to see. Well, you know, I'm gonna get a sample of yours, but because again, it didn't make it down to my tier.
Shoot! I could have split it. Dang it!
They've dropped a lot of those locally in stores. You know, I'm here in Michigan.
Oh yeah, you get them all the time.
We picked one. I got one, I think, from Bourbon Wrench. Their pick was one of the Green River barrels. Those have been phenomenal. So, you know, I think I was kind of cognizant that, man, everybody's dropping these Green River picks, these Green River barrels. You know, isn't there too many? But if it's the best stuff out there and you want to get that in people's hands, I mean,
yeah, if it's quality, people are they're going to go after it. I mean, I think that's the most important thing, because if you just put something out because it's different, but it doesn't, the taste doesn't back it up, then that's your name on the bottle. And you got to be careful with that. So, you know, I'd rather it not sell out, and then eventually it sell out and people say when they grab it, man, I wish I had bought that when it was still available. Then, well, this is hot garbage and I just don't want anything to do with it. So, you know, it's a bit of a roll of the dice, but most of the stuff they have there is pretty damn good anyway. So you're not going to go wrong. Like the ones we didn't pick were still really good. So that was a nice thing about going there.
And I just think we were so close on 2 of them, and they were both so different. The other one that we ended up picking that was a bourbon was one of the weeded bourbons from I think Southern Distilling that they had just gotten in like the day before or something.
Yeah, I heard there's weeders. Yeah, we
And
were hoping they would come in, and they weren't there when we were there. So yeah,
it's so good and so different.
yeah.
So yeah, we're real excited to have those come out.
I'm definitely that light whiskey's intriguing me. We're gonna have to try to
I'm
secure
curious to see what the yield is, because I know it's not a whole lot.
Yeah, I bet.
But
yeah, tomorrow for picks, we also, I mean, just as people are saying, we have our Chattanooga. There it is, and we can drink that after this blind if you want. But
well, I'm going to pour it while you guys are sipping.
Yeah, do it. Andy's Tom, real quick. Andy's like one of his first loves in like sort of craft whiskey when we first got was Chattanooga 111, and he was on it way before I was. And they weren't distributed. They just finally are distributed here in Maryland, I think 2 weeks ago. And for us to do a pick there, it meant a lot because it was one of Andy's favorite sort of whiskeys. Andy, how long ago? I'm talking for you, but go ahead.
Yeah, you did a lot. It's like having a second wife. I mean, he calls me in the car to make sure I'm on time. The whole family.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, the reason is polygamy doesn't work. So to all you people that think it's a wonderful thing, it's terrible. One is enough for me.
Oh, I like Kraken's question.
But yeah, that Chattanooga 111 was different. It was the first high malt I kind of fell in love with, and I just absolutely thought it was beautiful, and I kept going back to it. And I remember on a stream, it was maybe 3 years ago, actually, that someone said it's impossible. You can't get a Chattanooga pick. And I was like, well, damn it. We're going to get one someday. We're going to get a Chattanooga pick, and ended up hitting it off really well with Tim, who's the founder of Chattanooga. And, the pick team that went out there, Anthony Peters was there, with me. He's in the chat now. And they were, Nashville Mac was with us. The Turks were there. They rolled out the red carpet. I mean, it was a really amazing experience. And because for them, they don't do a lot of these picks. So they were as excited for us to be there as we were to be there. So it was a really, really cool thing. And so we got to get to the experimental distillery where they're doing we had a rye finished in Jaeger that was ridiculously good that I wouldn't have thought would work, but it actually worked. It was really good. So the whole experience was wonderful, and they're doing some killer stuff, and really some stuff that we'll never see again because it's all distillery only. But the stuff that they are putting out on the shelves are glorious pours. Like their 99 rye is great. Their Founders is great. So if you can get a hold of anything Chattanooga, I mean, I highly recommend them. They are really good. And
so I'm going to be a good guinea pig for your pick here because I'm not very familiar with this brand.
Yeah.
I've never owned a Chattanooga whiskey. Right. I did look to see they are distributed here in Michigan, but they're not very common on the shelves. So I've never had a bottle. I think I might have had a couple of samples here and there in flights from Marty.
Okay.
Not enough to form a real opinion.
Sure.
Well, and I'll be honest, I love to give Marty a hard time, but if Marty likes it, he's got a good palate too. So I mean, it's a good indicator. Like he's got a great palate, so he knows his stuff. Don't let it go to your head there, big guy. But
one of the things, Tom, we loved about Chattanooga is, and you're a home brewer, former home brewers, you love beers. They use the high malt mash bill is they're using caramel malts. They're using honey malts. They're using the malts that we use to brew beer in to add, layers of flavor and color and complexity. And that's what they're doing with their whiskey. And I think that's important to know because everybody hears malt. Oh, malt. I'm going to shy away from that. I don't like, I'm telling you, this is a bourbon and it's got layers. And I don't think this is the most complex bourbon ever, but it's damn freaking tasty. And I think that has to do with, how they go about things with, this is the 91 malt mash bill. And it
is a really layered pour, which I like.
Right.
It's not one dimensional by any means. You can pull a lot out. I mean, I don't want to speak for you. I mean, you give us your thoughts on it.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
I'm going to say hello to my wife before we get too far into it. Hello, honey.
Hi, Tiffany. There you go. Good job.
Usually I say hello, dear, and then she said she didn't like how I say that. So we'll go with honey.
I don't think my wife's ever been in the stream. If she did, I'd be in trouble. So that's probably
same here. That's right. Andy, let me ask you this when you're blind. As Tom goes through, drinks that. Is there any in the blind that you did not like?
No.
Yeah. My least favorite, I still think, is the triangle.
So I had a note that was your least favorite nose. It was your least favorite on the palate.
I like it better on the palate though. The palate actually, it's very nice. So
it's actually funny you said that because my least favorite nose is also the triangle, but the palate is absolutely delicious.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's one of those that they're not jiving together.
We don't have the same thing though. We don't have the same. It's not. The
I
same
know we
whiskey.
don't, but the nose. I couldn't put my finger on what this is.
Right.
But as soon as I took a sip, I was like, well, that's just really good. So
agreed. The palate is really nice.
Even
so I don't know.
Two different things here, but yeah.
So what do we have to answer again?
We'll circle back to it. All
right, good.
10 questions, Todd.
All right.
Oh, look at this. You asked me
while you're looking that over. I'm going to tell you that I really like the nose on this Chattanooga.
Oh, nice. I want to pour some.
It's very like silky caramel and fruity at the same time.
You nailed it. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There we go.
Like it's got like a nice.
I mean, you can't drink alone here, Tom.
It's not an aggressive nose. It's like a nice. It's like inviting.
So it's 117 proof, and this is only like 4 years, 2 months old. It's not. You know what Chattanooga does with their single.
You're such an instant stat hunter. Let the man taste it before you deliver all the goods.
I'm giving him some context here, Andy. Listen, it's already picked. It's on the bottle. They basically go through in their rick house and select 30 or 35 to 40 barrels for their single barrels for the year that will be used. And when we went to do this pick, where Andy went, this was already bottled. So they go through, select them. They make sure they're the sort of the best of what they have in there between 4 and 6 years of age. That's where they're at. Whether they're finished or rye or bourbons or various mash bills, they dump them. And so when they went, Andy went and the team went, this was already bought. There was no waiting. They were trying a bottle and they tried several bottles of whiskey that was already dumped because they only have a limited amount. That's what they do. They go through and they say, okay, these are the 30 to 40 that we're going to offer this year to our key accounts and select groups. How we got one of them? Well, again,
we almost had two. Tim and I were tasting through them, and there were two that were so different that it was like you can't really say one had to be. So we picked one that we knew would resonate really well, but there was one that was completely off profile and different that we really loved as well. You
gotta be careful if it's too far off profile because you got to keep in mind that it's not just a small group of you; it's a decent sized group.
True.
But we were willing to gamble and roll the dice and said, well, "What do you think if we get both of them?" And Tim's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "Let me talk to John. He runs our single barrel program, and he never says no to anything." Well,
Tim is the owner, founder.
He's the founder,
right?
but Tim said. John said no, guys. They're all accounted for at least numerically, not the barrels. So you can't have it. You can come back, but you can't have.
Come back next year if you sell this one.
It was a stout mash. Anthony Peters put it in there that was really good.
Anthony really wanted that
we both fell in love with it because I
would have taken that too, Andy. Oh.
Well, I'm a believer that it's hard to do stout mash as well. I think they're screwed up more than they're done right, and this was beautiful. But they have more on the way, and there's more good stuff coming, so we can always go back. But we made the right choice. We definitely made the right choice. It's a great pour.
On the palate, I get like it's like honey and ginger and clove.
Oh yeah,
and it's like really silky. And
do you get any like caramel,
nice
popcorn?
Oily, buttery mouthfeel, and then the finish is much bigger than I was expecting.
117 proof. It's a 4-year. It's a 4-year bourbon.
But
there's stuff that young that kicks. I mean, I've had some back like that. Some of the Detroit stuff that I've had is hit really hard at 4 years.
I don't think age is as big of a deal as people think.
Right?
Yeah, it really does. Still Austin's a great example. We've done 2 picks from them, and it's hot as hell in that rick house outside of Austin. And Chattanooga's temp is pretty much the same in that rick house for most of the year. And so there's little to no dormancy, and it's just accelerates that aging process. And they are very particular about the barrels that they use, about the malts they use. Everything is it's the most calculated non-Nancy Fraley place I've seen, that we've gone to. So, and I think they're challenging people for some of the best stuff in Tennessee easily because it's just, they're just making some dynamite stuff. So it's worth getting to know Chattanooga, especially as they expand their footprint.
So as far as your pick team goes, Andy, was Katie and Ethan on this one?
They were.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So to me, those guys are like pros. Not only do they have
For sure.
Excellent palates. But as far as like, we had a pretty big group. They know how to get down to the democracy of it at the end. And when it's time to do that, like, let's start, ruling things out. And, they were so prepared. Like, I never thought to bring like a little sample bottle to thieve a sample and hang on to. I mean, they just seemed like, to me, like they thought of everything.
It's not their first rodeo.
No, exactly. And they're,
well,
it was, I only had been on one pick. I went last year to Evernorth, and then I went with them and Dan and the gang a couple of weeks ago. So I felt like I learned a lot from my first to my second, but being exposed, to those guys and all the experience that they have and the things that they think of and the details. There's, a lot to be learned as far as, going to these things.
I can tell you this about the Turks. They're funny as hell. But they're people. They really are very talented. But Katie in particular said something to me that resonated. And she said, we've been on a bunch of picks, and they're pros. They know what they're doing. And she said, if I'm not willing to buy a case of it, I don't want to put my name on. Like, she said, it's got to be that good. And so I'm like, well, we're going to see what happens here at Chattanooga. And she was like, oh, hell yeah, I'd buy a case of this. But that's their level of
Katie and Ethan. The one we picked, and I think Nashville Mac. It was Andy, you and Anthony. I think were on the stout.
I was torn between 1 and 3. Anthony was 3 and then 1, so we were all on the same page. Not that 2 wasn't good,
Jason,
but we knew what we had.
The other 4 were
everybody was pretty as close to unanimous as we were going to get on this pick. Yeah. But her saying like, look, if I'm not going to buy a case of it, I don't want it. Like, and I just thought that resonated with me. Like, because that's what we want to do. You can't be afraid to say no, or I want to try something different. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I left Glens Creek, and it was a really head-spinning Uber ride home. But we went through, I don't know how many barrels to find the right one.
The more I drink of trying,
all of them blind. Every single one of them was blind. And it was really hard to deliberate. And we were just kind of pushing stuff back, and finally, like, we were down from 9 to 7, from 7 to 5, 5 to 3. Like, it took forever and a day to get there. But I mean, that's just the way. Like, you really want to be meticulous when you do this. And that's what I appreciate about the pick team. We had a really stellar pick team to come out for this.
All right. So I really enjoy this.
Nice.
This Chattanooga pick.
I hope everybody that's in Patreon, gets it, because it's a fantastic bourbon. It is high malt, yes, but I don't think don't let that scare you away if you never had. I think it's a great way to be introduced to Chattanooga.
Yeah, I think it's very well balanced. It's got a lot of the notes that are going to appeal to, I think, large, demographic. It's very, delicate, floral, and fruity, and not like punch you in the face with, high heat and heavy octane. Though it does have a finish that is big.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't going to drink all of it, but you know what? I just poured it.
I gave you a 2 ounce.
I'm enjoying it. It's a great pick.
We appreciate it. There is, you're right, Tom.
If anybody is in the chat that has a link that they can put up for the guy's Patreon.
Yeah, we have free Patreon.
How you're going to get it?
This may make it to free Patreon. We don't know. I mean, we have a huge yield on this. We only have like 230 some paid Patreon members. There's 205 bottles. Not everyone's buying this bottle, so it could make it to free. So I don't dissuade anybody. Just join us, even if it's free, and you can see what we have coming. Yeah.
Do you worry that we just sold through 300 plus bottles last week?
Yes.
Is it too soon?
Yeah, 100%. Oh God, yes.
That part is terrible,
for sure.
Because the one thing that is out of your control is the cadence of the way these go. Now, the cadence of the picks we can control, but how they're released. Look, we have coming, shortly after this, we've got a pursuit pick that we did back in February or January. So, and it's just, it took way too long to come out. So, and then after that, we've got a couple K Lukes, their first single barrels coming out. We got a ride. So
we got Andy went down to Bardstown with Jonathan and picked
we picked a couple barrels there. We did.
That's amazing for us. That's super huge for us.
We have 3 to 4 more Corbin Cashes coming. We got another old line. We've got
Reveries. We've got a buff turkey from Reveries, a 16-year-old buff turkey coming.
So we got
a question. Now I've noticed you guys and a few other channels talking about the Reveries. Is the guy that does that? Is he the same guy that runs SharePoint? Or is that a different dude?
Correct.
That's the same
Shared.
guy.
It is that guy.
Jay West, Take Reviews. It's Jay.
See, I knew him from like, was it Bottle Raiders or Whiskey Raiders?
Yes, so he's not really with them anymore. But
that's
he was
correct.
with them. I will say this. You're going to hear more about the referees. I will just leave it at that. We were the first to get down to where he's at. It's impressive. That's all I'm going to say. It is. They are Jay and what he's doing with the referees. You will hear about them very soon in a lot bigger context if you haven't already so. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Chris from Bourbon of the Week was talking quite a bit about the referees.
Wait till Chris, if he gets down there and sees what though. He doesn't. We thought so too until we were down there.
Oh, okay.
Holy shit!
It changed.
Oh yeah, I just saw you were. Yeah, I saw your pictures from it. Now
we didn't even show it all because I don't want to. I mean, it's not our place.
Part of it was he doesn't want you to. Like this is he's the way he is doing this is meticulous, and he's hand selecting how he releases what he. But let me just say this: the whole operation, the vision, everything is impressive, but the juice is just ridiculously good to back it up. So, yeah, we got to.
Nice, Chris.
We have a beautiful 9-year
MGP bourbon
that's coming. That is
from Reveries.
I think it's just one of the best I've ever had. And then we have we tasted through about 4 or 5 16-year-old buff
Tom,
turkeys.
He's got really good stash of buff turkey.
I mean, and the one we got, we were very. We didn't know what they all were at the time or anything proofs, but we just knew like, look, if we're going to do this, we don't want something that's crazy over oaks like Elijah 18 or anything like that.
Here it is, Andy.
Yeah, I need to get those back because you will drink them all.
There's the 16. There's the buff turkey. There's one of our 2 samples we brought back, and then much like we bring our own sample things, and then the 9-year, and it's the Reveries. I'm telling you guys, just. Be on the lookout for that, Tom. If you can get your hands on what his next blend, the Raven 2, is coming out this month.
Yeah, I started to make sure I'm following him on socials and whatnot.
Join his group, our bourbon group. Join that group for sure. It's free. It's free.
He's a good guy. He really is. If we're being transparent, we tried to do a single barrel before we had our debut pick, the Pour Some Moss on Me, and he was the only one that took a flyer on us. Like we called and we said, look, we have this game plan and here's our marketing. Here's our marketing plan. And we said, we don't have a lot of patience, but we believe we can sell this out in the whole 9 yards. And Still Austin hasn't done a single barrel.
3 years ago when nobody was doing Still Austin.
And he's like, okay, let's do it. It's like, I'm going to write the check. You're going to show me that you're not going to, he goes, because he said, I get a lot of people that come up and say, yeah, we'll sell it. Then they don't, and then that starts this whole snowball effect too. That's going to have the opposite. And we called Still Austin. What's the yield, guys? Like 180, 190, like 222. We're like,
shit!
Yeah.
So, do you feel like anxiety or stress when you hear some of these things, or excitement?
Well, it's look. There's
all of it.
I think some people do and some people don't, because none of us are writing the check. Okay, now we take that very differently. Like if someone else is going to be footing the bill for us, this is our name on it. Like we do have anxiety about it. Until every bottle is sold, we're worried. Like we want to continue this streak of selling things out and having people say, "Hey, this is good stuff." The more we do that, the more access we have to Jay saying, "Hey, give this a shot."
More doors.
But he's also told us, like, I'll shut people down if they're not producing. Which I mean, it is definitely, it's not as people think anybody can do a pick, and to an extent you kind of can, but not everybody can sustain it if it doesn't do well. So
you got to have the right, you got to pick the right stuff for one. You got to be able to reach enough ears and wallets to move it.
Yeah. Jeffrey is 100% true. Yeah. Listen, we had 330 bottles of our Pursuit pick. We're like, oh God. But I think what Dan and Sean are doing up there is, I think our community, everyone is on this channel really believes in and wants, and we know what they can do, and that shows we're not a big channel, and we sold through 330 bottles in 5 hours in our Patreon.
Yeah, those guys. I mean, they've been so awesome about like bringing in so many different channels and trying to, like they're reinvesting in this community.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of how what they use to build their platform, and so they're hey, your channel, you come in, and it's nice because they don't have like a bottle unsold. There's so much demand. I mean, even here in Michigan, where it's where most of their stuff is, I mean, it doesn't sit.
I gotta tell you though, Michigan whiskey is kicking ass. Like I'm
there's some good stuff here, and you might be surprised at some of the things that you have in your Glens here.
Well, I may be naming some, but I like Two James. I was introduced to Iron Fish, and I was like, wow, this is really freaking good. I had a single barrel that was really good. Never heard of them before. They were good. Obviously, New Holland is killing it because we worked with New Holland on their beer side and thought anyone who's doing whiskey with beer, the whiskey's going to suck. It doesn't. German. It's really good. We know Chris Fredrickson pretty well from Traverse City. They're doing some great stuff. Obviously, the Junkies. So I mean, there's some killer.
What's interesting,
distilleries.
Andy, is I was reluctant to try New Holland's whiskey because I wasn't a real big fan of their beer.
I will say this, I mean, there's Dragon's Milk. Everyone knows that
they're hit and miss with the.
They're very hit and miss with that.
The variants were what kind of kept the interest there, at least for me.
Correct.
Because some of them are killer too. Some of their variants are awesome, and some
of them are awesome. But dude, there's some of them that were like just.
Yes, I agree. I 100% agree.
I mean, there was like a chai tea one that I bought. I was like, wow, this sounds interesting. Oh, it's terrible. I mean, they weren't afraid to try different things. So I'll give them that.
Bourbon County Stout tried that too. They did the Earl Grey tea, and it was just
awful.
I want to talk to you guys about this. Okay, so as craft beer nerds,
let's go. Let's get nerdy.
We were kind of brought into every year, Bourbon County, Goose Island, that's like the holy grail. You got to get the base, and then if you can get a variant, oh my god, you got to share that with all your buddies. How the heck are you guys getting these early and putting out the videos before they're even dropped? I need to know that.
We very early found a contact at Goose Island that gave us access to their agency that sends out media samples.
Yeah, believe it or not a lot of people were jumping on this train, but a lot of people were, because beer.
I don't believe that, because I remember joining the newsletter and entering to try to get
we get it from their agency.
We don't get but top day, and I never got it.
But a lot of people aren't reviewing them until it comes out. And a lot of people aren't. It's not like something they're trying to push ahead of time, unless you're like at the barrel aged beer festivals and stuff like that. And those are all blogs. Most of it's written. There's not a lot of video content ahead of time. And so when we took a flyer and reached out, it was the first time we saw our videos go from 150 views, 250 views to a couple thousand. We're like, holy shit, like this thing is moving.
5,000 for us. That was a huge amount. I mean,
it was massive.
It's still huge for us.
Absolutely. For long format videos, they're huge. But then we also found out that we were better at barrel aged beer reviews than IPAs or anything else, because there was something about it that made the descriptor notes really work for us. Our palates were jiving, eventually led us into whiskey, period. But the variants were just a ton of fun. So we did all kinds of marketing for it. We would do, when they released the variants, some of them were fake and some were not. We would have a summer live stream. Which ones do you think is going to make it? Which ones don't? And it amassed a following of people who follow us strictly for Bourbon County Stout and don't watch anything of our whiskey stuff. So that's
amazing. I mean, it really is such a change of pace in terms of content that you're putting out there. I'm getting you guys on my feet, and all of a sudden there's like, Bourbon County Prop 2024. I'm like, where's this?
How do you get that? Yeah,
and
so we
I mean, that used to be like the holy grail. If you can get one of those bottles in those light blue boxes, you struck gold.
But they're great. It's fun. Like we do love doing the barrel aged beers. We'll probably hopefully do more of that in the future. New Holland would be one of them, but I'll tell you, like, Dogfish is a great example of a good brewery that does garbage whiskey. And so we thought New Holland was going to be the same way. Man, we were wrong.
That was
one
brand I never got into. So here's a question for you guys. Now, what is your opinion? The best Bourbon County ever?
Oh,
well, see, I can answer that. Yeah,
I've got the two right answers. I'm just curious to know what you guys think.
Wait, hold on. Base or variant? Like, are you saying anything they've put out onto that name?
Yes.
Oh, ooh, that's harder. Well, I know what Andy's answer is. It's the Bramble.
Well, for a variant, yes, but right up there is also the Elijah Craig, the
25th anniversary.
The 25th anniversary. That's the one that we absolutely fell in love with, which was so good. They've had a couple that were just so good.
I love their old was it, Andy? The Midnight Orange from 2018, or the Vanilla Stout from 2019 was amazing.
Yeah, because they haven't done a good one since. Yeah.
Yeah, we did in
what I'm hearing
video.
is wrong answers, guys. But
all right, hold on. We're not done.
No. I love this. This is the fun part about this. I want to hear Tom's.
Did 2010 through 2020 the bases. We did that in one setting. If you want to watch a fun video where we get, can I cuss on this channel or no? No, we get screwed up.
I try and I keep them under wraps.
He doesn't like me to cuss on our channel. It's ridiculous. And the more I drink, the more I swear. Anyway, we did 11 years worth of bases from 10 to 20. And Andy, what was the best? 10.
Yeah, no, the 10 was
it was the best. 2010
absolutely
base
amazing. Yeah.
Was
2010 the OG rare or the OG base.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Absolutely glorious.
All right. So I have as the right answers here. 2010 OG rare.
Okay, there you go.
Which I don't think was the base. That was the
I don't know, but the dark green box. We didn't get that's not what this was.
Okay, so
this is the base. This is the
to me
base,
that's the best. So. That was the best ever, and then followed by the 2014 original Vanilla Rye VR.
So
that's before our time. See that we didn't try the 2014 Vanilla.
Oh.
No, we didn't have. We never got the rye. We bought a lot of the old stuff. We never got a hold of that one.
We started doing these in 2016.
The 2018 rye. Vanilla Stout was amazing. The Bramble was still one of my favorites of all time. I absolutely love that.
Kraken asked earlier, Tom.
Bramble was around the same time as the original VR. I want to say around 14. Wasn't it?
What? So
this is the second iteration of the Bramble. So they did it twice.
Our time, Tom. Yeah.
The first one was a bourbon. The second was a rye, I believe, and it was just the rye
Dragon's
was
milk, more sucked. Yeah, Chris, we're not.
That was actually one of the ones I liked. Chris, if I'm being honest.
You know what the best bang for your buck in barrel aged beer is Lagunitas Willotized. It's like 4-pack for $12, and it's amazing.
It was better when it was high westified. But yes.
No. Actually, I don't know. I've never tried that. So, Tom, you are
so. Why are you arguing
this
so much?
Was like I was in the craft beer. I want to say from like 2012 to about like 2020-ish.
All right, Tom. We have to have you on our channel.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tom, if you want to come on craft barrel aged beers here, we can do some blinds too.
Send you shit too. We have so much stuff.
Yeah, we would love to.
You guys, one of the things I did that was a mistake. When I was into craft beer, is you get the barrel aged stouts, and I think I blame Goose Island because on their bottle it says, ages or conditions or develops flavors for 6 years, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So, what do? You buy one and you stick it in your cellar. It's a basement. It's not a fucking cellar, right? Yeah. There's no, I'm not opening doors.
It's right here, right there.
It's my basement. Yeah. So I've got like all these old barrel aged stouts.
It's your cellar. You're cellaring it.
Yeah. The flavors are continuing to develop. But then you know what? The Goose Island had the whole thing where the shit went bad.
Well, that's true.
And then I want to say like around 2015, like if you were aging stuff, it went bad. It spoiled. Mm-hmm. So then they went in 16, I think, to pasteurize, like flash pasteurizing it so it wouldn't go bad. The problem is that wasn't, it was more even Steven, meaning, you didn't get the stuff that spoiled, but you also didn't get the stuff that was just off the charts good. It was all good.
Jesus, now I want to drink a
I've got all of these barrel aged stouts in my.
You really want to drink a barrel aged beer?
Let's end the
They're
night
not
with
getting
a
any better.
Beer.
They're just getting worse.
We're ending the night with a barrel aged beer. Oh,
are you? Hey, Tom, you go with that? Let's end the night with a barrel aged beer. You want to do that?
End the night, whatever we do.
I think one of the ones I still have that I've been reluctant to toss is that 2019 vanilla Goose Island. So I've still got that. Sitting in there.
That was great, wasn't it?
You said that was your favorite. It was okay.
Oh.
It's not the OG vanilla, man.
That was the Midnight Orange year, right? It was the Midnight Orange vanilla.
Yeah, last year's vanilla was it was our last. We rated it last.
Wife,
it was terrible.
Right? Yes,
that's my wife.
Tom,
yes,
you're coming on our channel. We're doing whiskey and barrel aged beer, and like November, like when it really comes out, we will. Let's do this. Let's do this on our channel. We want you to come on our channel now.
I'll tell you, just to geek out though, of all the bases, we did not have an infected 2015. It actually was very good.
We didn't. That's true.
But
I don't know that I tasted an infected one either, but I did notice that after that, I mean, we would still go out and hunt like 2016, 2017, 20. You know, it was such a big deal, like such a thrill, like to go out that, you know, Black Friday and go hunt for
I think
urban counties. It just, I think that ended up being more fun than actually drinking it after, you know, 2015, 2016.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them held up really well. The 17 is still one of my all-time favorite bases. I absolutely love the 2017 base.
Tom, what do you think? Have you ever heard of Fremont?
Yep.
Yeah, they're
I mean, these guys. To me,
so here's a question for you guys. Obviously, you know, breweries have been closing. You know, I think we can agree that we're past peak craft beer, right?
Oh, we are way past that.
What for you guys was peak craft beer?
It was probably about 5 years ago, I think.
Okay, not necessarily a time, but maybe a release, an event. What was peak craft beer
for me? Here's for me. When I found the greatness of Hetty Topper and Russian River, Pliny the Elder, like this is years ago. The East Coast, West Coast, like the battle between what is the better. Because I love IPAs. Tom, are you an IPA fan?
I was huge. I loved the hazy stuff at the end. Yeah, I can't drink it now, but that was what I
can't either. Loved. Right. So Andy was too. And then after that, it was the surgence of, and I'm ashamed almost to say it, but the fruited sours.
Oh, he was the king of that. He was the king.
That was that to me, Todd. That was such a phase, and I went hard on it.
I did too. Oh, I went way hard on it.
You know, there's a couple places in Michigan that do them really well. Like there's a place called Jolly Pumpkin that does nothing but sours. But there's also a place called Holmes that does just phenomenal stuff. But for me, like peak sours or best sours were Casey out of Colorado.
Andy.
I think
that was peak for me. Andy, I drank all my samples. Shit.
This is doing tastings with you,
Tom. You got me off tangent. Now I've drank all my samples. Damn it.
Part of the problem with craft beer, and I worried about this with whiskey to an extent, although it will take longer just because there's just not as many. But as more and more distilleries come of age and they have shelf life on these things where they're not tasting young and grainy anymore, you're not going to have this giant need to have everything from the bluegrass state, which I like about whiskey. The problem with beer was it grew so fast, you couldn't get any shelf space. And so what happened was it became your neighborhood pub or you went out of business. You had to be able to go there, drink and eat and hang out and play video games or whatever they had, because otherwise it wasn't going to last. And so it replaced your local pubs as
big one
with microbreweries.
Look at that. Oh.
So what is that 17, 18, 19?
Yeah, I gotta look. It's 18.
Okay. All right.
I love this beer. I love this beer.
All right, so I think peak craft beer for me. All right, so did you guys go to like the fests or anything like that? Like, did you ever go to like Great American Beer Fest?
Go that? Yeah, I wish. No, did you?
We were invited once. We never went.
A Great American Beer Fest was just, it was too much. I mean, we went. You know, I think it was 2017. Went to Colorado. There was like a freaking stadium full of people, dude. And like, there's just way too many people. You can't get to what you want. It's just insane. So we were like, we're never going to do that again. But so you know, we kind of fell into this brewery called Weldworks in Colorado. That ended up being like our end all be all. That was the king of the hill. I don't know if you guys have heard of Weldworks. If not, you missed the boat. There you go, Tiffany. They would have their own fest on a much smaller scale.
Oh, nice.
And they would have all of the elite breweries from the entire country, like, you know, Other Half, Treehouse, you know, Fremont.
Fremont. There's another,
whoever was the biggest at the time, they all were at this small fest in Greeley, Colorado, which is, you know, an hour north of Denver. I think it's north. An hour from Denver in the middle of nowhere. And that was the end all be all fest. I think we went to that in 18 and 19. And then after that, I think I just kind of fizzled out.
Fort George is another one I love. Fort George.
George.
Beers, you know,
Oh,
Tom,
God.
beer's tough because it's so regional.
We have a ton of barrel-aged beer behind here. So much barrel-aged beer.
I know. I think that's the tough part is that beer's so regional because there's a lot of good stuff out there. So we found that also translated into our videos when you're doing a release from a Maryland brewery that you can't get in Colorado or Michigan or California, it wasn't going to resonate. So you almost have to do macros, and there's only so many like, hey, let's do a Coronaverse of Modelo videos that you can do. So
there is that, but then at the same time, I mean, don't you kind of have to do whatever kind of comes, in what finds its way to you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We tried this, and I wish we would have stuck with it. It got difficult. We threw a green screen behind us. Actually, our old video production was almost better than it is now because we were doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
All right.
It was.
George
we did
Lopez, he says he's in Greeley, so you know what I'm talking about. That WeldWorks was, for me, that was the end all be all.
Well, yeah, we didn't have a lot here. We could never.
See, I'd love to try it, but I see that's the thing. So we would invite people. We said we want your best beer from all 50 states. Hold on one second. So we want our beers from all 50 states. We did this thing called the State Series, where we had people from different states send us their best beer. We'd send them stuff back, but we would review it. And we did Oregon, we did Washington, we did who else we do? We did about six, 8 of them, and then
we can't.
It just got tough with trying to put this stuff together was just getting to be impossible. But it was fun because it showcased the regionality of beer and how different places are so proud of what they're kicking out to you.
Yeah,
and they were falling in love with it, but it really resonated on a local, regional level versus, this grand scale. Where whiskey still is pretty nationwide. Thanks to distributors who can deliver to you. So it did change things for beer quite a bit where, it was harder to make an imprint with it, but a good beer is a good bear. I still love it. Like, that's why we still want to spot when we can.
So there's that, but here's what I'm going to say, and you guys will agree with this, wholeheartedly. So I've got, a 2019 Goose Island vanilla, and I'd love to share it with you guys. Okay, well, it's not like I can crack it and pour it into an aged Denor and send it to you. It's gonna suck by the time it gets your way.
Mm-hmm.
With whiskey, I can open up a bottle, I cap it off. It gets to you, and it's just like it is on my end.
Yep. One thing you can do, Tom, for yourself is buy a bottle capper and get bottle caps. So
I think I got one of those from when I was home.
From your home. So what we do when we drink our 8 Bourbon County stouts a night, we can't drink all that, but we will then cap it and come back to it because it will save it for a while.
But even still, throwing that in the mail and putting it across the country, you can't do that. You can't share it.
Todd, we used to have like beer shares, so we would have, we would collect these bottles, and they're sitting in one of our, cellars or fridges or whatever, and we're only opening them when we're all together.
Correct.
Okay, so it's bringing you together, but only so far. You know what I mean? Like, it's only us here local.
For sure.
With whiskey, I'm on with Troy Baker. I'm on with you guys, and if you look at it, you're literally on one end of the United States. They're on the other. I mean, that's the entire country.
It's true.
I mean, that's
true.
If you think about it on that level, I mean, it's pretty impressive, right?
I agreed, and I think we went through and Tom, you were part of this. We went through the whole craft beer boom and significant fall off. I worry is whiskey headed that way? I hope not. I don't know.
It's going to have to some extent, and I think what we just saw recently. What was that? Old Elk selling to Middle West.
Yeah,
I think you're going to see a whole lot of mergers and acquisitions because it's people in the long game. So it's not like they're just going to fold up and go home. They still got.
Here's the problem with that. Andy and I always say people before product, right? So what we try to do is get to know a distillery. We taste something we love. We bring them on our channel. We have them on. If it works, we then say, hey, you know what? We'd love to come out and visit. If a single barrel is in the cards, it's in the cards. But I worry that with these acquisitions, like Sagamore is in our backyard. It literally is 8 miles up the street from us. We still are. I love Sagamore. They were bought out. Brian Treacy's no longer with them. I don't know if you know who Brian Treacy is, but he was the one who basically ran Sagamore up until this acquisition.
He was the face.
He was the face, and it's owned by DiSerrano, or who owns it now? Andy,
DiSerrano, is that right?
Yeah, from Italy. Yeah,
and I'm not saying that. Listen, they're still putting it. I love Sagamore's. The juice that they're putting out of their own stuff is phenomenal, by the way. But people say, why haven't you done that pick? Well, I don't know.
Well, there's something different.
I thought it would have been interesting if you guys went all the way to Evernorth and picked a Sagamore barrel.
That's what I wanted to have happen, Dom. I wanted that so had happen. I wanted that to happen.
It's exactly why I didn't want to know what was in the barrel, because everybody wanted me. They said, bring home a Sagamore.
Andy, the Sagamore bourbon is insane.
I'm sure it is.
I'm amazed that no one else is putting it out.
But
all right, so guys, real quick, it's 9:45, so I'm going to do a couple of things. One, I'm going to cut off entries into the bottle giveaways. So we'll do that. We'll run that closer to 10, but we're going to cut off entries so Tyler can put together the wheel. So everybody that's in, awesome. We're putting you in the wheel. We'll get that going pretty soon. But we're going to cut off entries so that Tyler can start tabulating.
By the way, whatever I'm drinking,
guys.
Quite nice, by the way.
You guys have had the chance to sip through all of your samples?
I drank them all. God damn it.
Todd, yes. Andy, yes.
I drank all of them. I have nothing left.
All right. Well, guys, you're on. We're going to get down to this right now.
Oh, no.
All right.
Oh, no. All right. Here we go, Andy. I drank all mine.
I think what we're going to do is this. We're going to do I'm going to go Todd and Andy will both do question 1 and question 2. So we're not going to just run Todd through 10 and Andy through 10. We'll each have you guys answer question 1, give your guess. Then I'll add up scores and see where we're at.
That's Andy.
Okay. All right. So for both of you guys, question 1, which of the samples was the highest proof?
I have nothing left.
Hope you got a good memory.
Yeah, I'm so disappointed in you.
Whatever, Andy. I have notes though. Well, some.
Chris Sorrell, you mean Holmes the brewery, right?
You just gonna smell your glass there, buddy, and try and pull it from there.
What's up, Bourbon School?
I screwed it. I'm gonna be the last on this.
You knew exactly what you were doing when you drank it all, Todd. You said this is a problem when you talk.
I'm not throwing you guys any curveballs.
No, I completely forgot. We were in the moment. All right.
We might have got going on a few different tangents, but
we got off on craft beer, and I'm gonna go with highest proof. This is a bit of a crapshoot here. I got a 25% chance here. I do have notes on which ones I thought were higher proof.
Okay.
3 of the 4 I thought, Fudge.
You're doing great, buddy. Keep going.
What do you say, Andy?
The problem, I'm being honest with the proofs, is they all seem pretty in the same ballpark.
Yeah, I agree.
Nothing was jumping.
Nothing was low to me.
Hot.
Nothing was.
That is the issue when you're doing blinds and you're doing them in a flight. Is things do tend to lines are blurred.
Yeah, I'm gonna say for me, because I didn't have any. I'm probably wrong. You can tell me right off the bat. I didn't have anything over 120 proof. I'm probably wrong about that.
Hey, don't sell yourself short, Andy.
All right, but I had the highest at 118 is what I said for the triangle was what I had for.
All right, so I'm gonna put you down for triangle. You don't necessarily need to guess what it was, but I'll tell you what it was at the reveal.
Okay.
Todd, do you have a guess for highest proof?
Hold on a second.
What are those noses telling you there, buddy?
Is it the Bramble Rye from 16?
We'll go with square for highest proof.
You're probably going to beat everybody because you're just going to guess random shapes, and you're going to end up pulling this idiot savant move off.
If he won just by guessing random shapes, then that would be on me, I think.
I did. I will say with this, Andy, there was none that I thought were like super low, and they're probably all low now. Or super they were all around the same. Like I didn't get like, oh, this is super high proof or this is super low. Like I was waiting for that one that was super low proof. I didn't find it, and that's probably my own fault. But go ahead. Sorry.
Super right, so Todd, I got you down for square. Andy, I got you down for triangle. How about lowest proof?
Lowest proof, I had the circle. That's my lowest proof.
I'm gonna go with X for my lowest.
Gotcha. All right.
I don't know. That's a complete guess here, though. I love X, though. X is so good.
Can there be multiples or only one?
You know what, Andy? That's a good question. And since you weren't here when we were backstage, I think that's where I mentioned it. Some of these questions will have more than one right answer.
Okay.
So you've got
Randall,
odds on.
Did he drink it all? I drank it all. God dang it, I drank it all.
You do
We're
great.
talking about barrel-aged beer and
you're doing, Todd. You're doing great as you always do. You're the
Randall
star of the
says,
show as you always are.
Marty's score's safe. I'm pretty sure that's true. I have nothing left to even kind of go back on.
All right. So the third one here is, which would you say is finished?
Oh shit.
0 or circle for me.
Okay. I knew what you meant.
I think triangle for me.
All right. Number 4 is, which of these is a bourbon? And like I said, there can be more than one right answer. You only got to get one.
Safest pick for me, I think, is square. So please don't be wrong on that, because I think that's the only one I knew definitively was definitely a bourbon.
X for me.
Okay. All right. How about number 5? Which is a rye?
Right, I changed mine to square. Square.
So
square.
So Todd, you get square is a bourbon or is a rye?
Square's a bourbon. Square's a bourbon.
All right. So number 4, your answer is square.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got you. All right. How about a rye, Todd?
Let's go with circle.
All right. Andy, you got one?
X.
All right. All right. This is one I always suck at. Which of these has the highest age statement?
Oh shit.
I'm going square because it had the most oakiness to it kicking on me that I felt like I felt square was the one.
I'm gonna go with square as well.
Circle gets a square.
Square's my favorite.
All right. And Andy, I don't know if you're right or wrong. I didn't look yet, but I'll tell you what, you come up with an answer right away. I like the confidence. Either way.
Gotta have a little swag, whether you're right or wrong. So we'll see what happens.
I love it, Andy. I love it.
All right, so this is probably going to be pretty random for both of you guys, but what about which one of these do you think has the highest MSRP? So this is what the sales price is, not the secondary price.
Well, I like square the most, so let's go with square.
I also just because the age, if this really is a high age statement, I'm going to go square and see what happens because I don't know.
We have different whiskeys, by the way.
Doubling down.
That's the funny thing is
double down square.
Yeah.
All right, 8. Which has the lowest MSRP?
Fuck.
Which is the cheap bottom shelf?
They're all so good. I mean, this is a crapshoot. I'll say X just for fun, but
I'll
I
say
have
triangle.
No idea.
Triangle just because of the nose, but triangle smells very crafty to me. A bit younger. So, but I like the paddle on this was really good.
All right.
Anyway, triangle. I don't know what the fuck am I doing.
Right.
I have
Fair
nothing
enough.
to drink.
All right. So the last 2 questions. Number 9. Which of these is distilled in Kentucky?
I'm gonna go square one more time.
Square as well. I'm going square too. I'm going square too. And then Michigan to me is
the last one is Michigan, and this is
zero.
You guys might have never even heard of whatever it is essentially.
No,
oh,
0.
Well, then I'm definitely wrong. I'm changing my.
Yeah, me too. Because
I thought one of these might be Dragon's Milk, so
did
I'm
I.
wrong.
It might be. I don't know what you tried.
Well, yes, you do. 0 for me. Yeah, Tom.
All right, so Todd, I'm locking you in at 0 or 0.
I had both 0 and triangle as Michigan, so I don't know which.
Those were my true.
You got to give me one, different. Andy.
No,
damn it. I initially out of the gate said circle, so I'm just gonna go circle.
All right, trust your instincts, right?
Which means it's probably triangle.
All right, so give me a few minutes here. I'm gonna tabulate your scores.
Can we talk about other things that we have coming from our channel?
Go for it. Yeah, talk about what you got coming up on the channel. Anything you want to promote?
Consummate salesman, Todd.
No, listen.
I'm in sales for a living, and so when I'm done, I turn it off. But Todd is our sales guy. He is our sales guy.
Let's do it.
Go ahead.
So tomorrow, Chattanooga. This single barrel. Look at that 21090.
Now, Todd, I'm going to interrupt. Because we do everything beer, bourbon, rock and roll, especially 80s vein, instead of Armageddon at the amazing song from Def Leppard, this is called Chattageddon. So, we got to keep the 80s hair metal theme.
After that, we have of course, the Pursuit Double Oaked. This is Dave Vogelsong. Everyone in this chat knows who Dave Vogelsong is. They love him. This was his first ever single barrel. I don't know how that's possible, but it was his first single barrel pick.
He came out to Kentucky with us, and it was his first one. So we aptly
And
named it Diamond
Kenny,
Dave's.
Ryan,
Yep.
yes, Diamond Dave Double Oak Bourbon coming out on the 13th, and then guys, after that is the Reveries. We have a 16-year-old buff turkey.
Let's just say this: we're going to be having. Have you plugged the 19th, Todd?
No, I haven't said anything about.
Okay, so July 19th
in Baltimore,
in Baltimore, Maryland, at Old Line Spirits. We are going to be having what's called Rock the Rick House 2025. We're going to be having a bunch of people come out. Corbin Cash will be there. David Sousa from Corbin Cash will be there. We'll have Jonathan Maizana, who won the NDP of the year from K-Luke. He's going to be out there.
Oh, guys.
We're going to look how excited you are, Todd. We're going to have Jay West from the Reveries is going to come out and is going to be there. We've got obviously Mark and Arch from Old Line, potentially Tim Pearson from Chattanooga is going to be there. Some other special guests in the whiskey field who will be there. Some games, some prizes, some all kinds of stuff. Pin the socks on Todd. It's going to be lots of really cool activities and things, and some killer pours are going to be there. So, and it's a free event to our patrons. Free. So even if you are a free patron, come to our free event. But it is going to be awesome, and it is hopefully something. You're going to be able to get tons of samples, and you're going to get a sneak preview of some of our bottles that are coming out. So, including that sweet potato whiskey that we're dropping from Corbin Cash, which is insane.
So we got all bizarre. That sounded bizarre.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So, guys, this is interesting. So I got one of you with 7 and the other one of you with 4. So going into tonight, the highest that anybody's placed is 6. So one of you is moving to the top of the leaderboard.
Andy.
As far as the range, the lowest has been 3. So the range is 3 to 6. One of you hit 4, one of you hit 7.
I'll be happy with either.
Yeah, true. We're good. We're good now. Let's go.
What did we figure the Vegas odds were here?
We said Todd should win this because he's good at this. Yeah, I said you should, but go ahead.
Okay.
No, Andy, you got 7.
There you go, Andy. You're the leader.
All right, so let's give me a second. I'll grab the bottles. I'll show you what you were drinking. Why don't we start with Todd's bottles here? And this is going to be the first giveaway is going to be the bottle of the New Holland Dragon's Milk Origin. Second prize is going to be Todd's Flight Witch. Give me just a second. I'll grab it.
Can I just blow a kiss to Marty and just there you go, Mike?
I didn't win, Randall.
Sorry, buddy.
I didn't have any left either, too. So.
You know, Marty. Look,
Marty.
If you had 6, all I can say is I felt like I should have had 8, not 7. So that's so.
I think Andy had a pretty easy flight, Marty. That's what that was.
Yeah, really,
very easy flight.
Really see you in the finals.
Let's see what this.
Didn't we do this on another channel where we came in first place in the first round and then we got knocked out immediately in the second round? So there you go. So yeah, don't be mad, Marty. I love you.
Todd will do your reveal here first.
Okay. I liked Square and X the best, but what do we have there?
All right. Well, give me a second here. We've got X was the New Riff Silver Grove, and this was the 2024.
Oh, nice.
Rye.
Oh, well, I didn't.
So 4 years old, 116.2 proof, and the retail on this was about $55. Banger.
Very nice. I loved it.
Square was this Hirsch.
I love this
double oak.
I'm a big Hirsch fan. That's cool.
And
that's awesome.
So this would have been a finished one as well, but
it's finished. I didn't know it was finished.
Well, it's double oak, so I would have kind of.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Okay, all right.
But there was another one that's finishing something else. I'll get to that in a second. But this was a blend of 8 and 3-year-old whiskey. So it wouldn't have been the highest age statement. It would have only been 3.
What's the proof on that, Tom?
Proof on it was the highest. It was 128.6.
I think I said that. All right.
Yeah, so,
I love that. That's really good.
Let me see. Square. I think that was the one you got.
Yeah, I got that.
I have which was the highest, or which was a bourbon. You've got that one right. For the highest proof, you guessed Triangle.
Oh, I did. I thought I said Square.
Todd, you don't know what you said.
Hang on a minute.
I said Square.
Highest proof, you said
Stop trying to siphon points.
I have highest proof on Square right there.
Jeez.
I wrote down square for you for number 1. Which was highest proof?
Square.
Oh no, you said square. I'm sorry. It was actually triangle. Triangle. What?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Wow, wow.
It's triangle was Valentine Mere Pingree single barrel rye at 100.
You know what? I don't love Pingree. I don't love Pingree. I didn't. That was not. I
didn't
drank
love
it more. I didn't love it.
Oh, I got a bottle from David Vogelson. I love it. It's good. Yeah.
It's their distillate. You know, a lot of their stuff is sourced, but this isn't. This I love.
The palate's way better than the nose to me. But yeah.
And then the other one, this was Detroit City Distillery honey finish bourbon, 116 proof.
Wait, hey Tom, you said just Detroit City?
Yes, Detroit City Distillery, DCD.
And what is?
I've never heard of them. Are they?
What is it? Is this a rye?
God, I'm falling in love with. I'm falling in love with Michigan whiskey, man. I'm not going. I want to try that too.
I love this, by the way.
Well, I'll tell you what, Andy. If you get a minute, whatever. We had Dante from Detroit City Distillery on as a guest on the live stream sometime in January.
Okay.
Drank through a lot of their stuff. He broadcast from, I think, their barrel room. It was really cool. Talked a lot about the brand. It's good stuff. It's still young.
Okay.
They're really doing some really cool things with how they're finishing things, and some of their single barrels are now starting to hit where they're.
What is that Detroit City? What is that? What is that?
So this Todd was a honey finished single barrel bourbon.
Bourbon. Ooh. Hey,
yeah.
Wow.
Only 3 years, 1 month, so it's young.
I'm just I'm impressed with the quality of stuff coming out of Michigan. I really am. I
really like that.
I was talking to Todd. I was like, we need to do a Michigan tour. How far are you from Detroit, Tom?
Half hour, 45 minutes.
Oh hell, I need to. I'll be back soon. Plus for work, we'll have to grab a drink, man. I'll come out there. And we'll hang out.
All right. So Andy, let's get to your flight here.
Yeah.
Give me a moment. You got some bangers here. Give me just a second.
No, how come I didn't get bangers?
You did.
You have such a complex. I love it.
God damn it.
This is eating at you, isn't it?
No, it's all good. Actually, I'm okay with that.
Hey, what say you, Todd?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Buddy, I trust you.
I don't love
inexplicably.
Pingree, and that's okay with me because I know I don't love Pingree, and that's the one identified real quick.
Do you love lamp? Do you love lamp?
I love lamp. Where was that? Yeah, exactly, Jeff. This is where we learn that Tom loves Andy more than. Yeah, exactly. Let's go here. Let's see what he gave Andy. I got Pingree and Detroit, Michigan whiskey. Andy got what? Let's see here.
All right, hang on. All right, so for Andy, your flight was square, which is really the one that brought you home. You guessed that on 1, 2, 3, 4 of your answers.
Uh-huh.
And that was actually the Old Forester.
Oh, okay, of course. Yeah, he gets Old Forester. All right.
1924.
That's fine. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Where's mine on that?
Settle down, Beavis. Settle down.
Then we had your rye, which was the Michter's barrel strength rye.
Do that then. All right. Thanks, Jeffrey Wack. Highlight that.
Detroit City Distillery, Andy. Butcher's Cut single barrel bourbon was
that you had the O.
That was O. That was the one you said you liked the nose.
Yep, and that's Michigan. And I said it was Michigan. So there you go.
And then your last one was Dragon's Milk Origin.
I told you I had Dragon's Milk on there. See,
but it was a honey finished.
I had Dragon's
Milk.
That
was
on there,
Triangle, which you did.
The nose. I could have guessed the distillery that Todd. I knew it was Dragon's Milk, and I didn't.
You've been drinking the hell of that at Dragon's Milk.
I have. I love Dragon's Milk. So I
I think it was really the 1924 that you identified as the oldest, the oakiest, and that brought you home.
Well, I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank Marty for hanging in there for as long as he did. It's that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah,
and actually, Marty's right. Thank you for all the. I like the new logo, Marty. Look at that. It looks good.
Yeah,
very, very Maryland Terrapins of you. I like that, especially being in North Carolina. I like that.
That's great.
Represent.
I love it. All
right, so let's do this. Let's. Ty, you got the wheel set up, buddy?
Oh, he's ready to go.
He's like, Dad, shut up.
Do you, Tom? I have to ask before you spin it. Do you pay for no ads or something like that? Is there on your wheel?
No, I just click on no ads.
See, Todd, why don't you do that? Like, I can make that. Ours looks so ghetto compared to that.
You can put your logo on it and make it the color.
I have one with Todd's logo that looks like a Alanis Morissette that I put on there. But when he does it, it's got all these ads and stuff like that. I just want to make sure that it was okay. That looks good. I like that.
All right. So Andy, you were the winner. How many times do you want to have Tyler hit shuffle here so we can run?
Oh God, Andy's
third time's a charm. Let's do 3.
All right, hit shuffle 3 times, Tyler.
There we go.
All right, spin the wheel. Let's give away a bottle.
This has been a blast. I like it. This is fun. Who's gonna win? Is that Christopher or Toby? Who is it? Christopher.
Oh wow. I think Chris is actually a Michigan guy. He's probably one of the guys that can get this bottle. Congratulations, Chris.
That's awesome. Good job, man. Do
All
we
right,
want
so we've got 2 more winners. The next one I'm going to run is Todd's flight, which
right.
We'll go back to. I think most of them are out of the shot here.
That's
and the third prize is Andy's flight. So
it wasn't quite.
He'll never have us on again.
I didn't hear that bit, so we'll let that slide. All right, Tyler, spin it up. Let's give away a flight.
Corvette Trey.
There you go, Trey.
Corvette Trey. Congratulations. I swear this guy wins all the time.
Hey, he's a good dude, man.
He's a great dude.
Good job. Good job.
No, he's awesome. He's
quality individual.
Patreon. He was in here early in the chat. He's one of the guys that supports all of us. So cheers to you.
Rigged. Look at this. It's rigged. Rigged.
I think we helped invent the rigged part, didn't we?
I don't know.
That's something that we've been doing it forever.
Well, Big Vic can win that.
Tyler, let's do one more.
And is it Daniel or Jimmy? It is Daniel.
Daniel Gundry. That is Bourbon Dan. Congrats, Bourbon Dan. I think I've got Chris Sorrell won the first. Make sure you email me, Chris. I think you won before, so I probably have your contact information, but just in case, hit me up through email.
Great fight.
You other 2 guys, I've got your contact information. I'll get these put together, packaged up, and sent out. I appreciate everybody who got in. I appreciate everybody who hung out with us here tonight. Listen to us yap about bourbon and beer and whatever else.
This is a blast.
I know there were other streams going on tonight. In fact, I know Katie and Ethan were on doing puffs and pours or something with Vic.
Oh, no.
And I usually go on earlier, and I think they started at 8:30. So
thank you, Tom, for coming on a little bit later for us.
Tom, I gotta ask, do you want to end the night with a barrel aged pour? Should we do one?
Let's do one more beer.
What are you going to do here, guys?
Whatever.
We'll
all right. So I'll tell you what. Yeah. I've got a few of these in my refrigerator that's right here, and it might be ass, but it's some stuff I've been hanging on to. So I'll open it while we're here.
I'm gonna grab one too, Todd. So you get a beer. Or Todd, you bloviate for me because you're great at that. So I can go in the back and grab a beer. You're good. That's your word.
All right. So here's what I've got. Now this is something that I wanted to hang on to. I couldn't bring myself to dump it, but I know in my heart it wasn't really very good.
You want to dump it?
No, I couldn't bring myself to dump it, so I've held on to it.
KBS what?
This is a KBS espresso variant.
Oh, what's wrong? You don't like that?
This is from 2019.
Well, the espresso is probably.
It sounds like it would be a no-brainer, right? It sounds like it would be amazing, right?
Okay.
Except it's just not.
All right. Well, I don't remember that one, but I like KBS though. KBS is.
I love KBS. The regular KBS. That's my
like
favorite.
Some of the variants. All right. Well, in the chat, do you want me to do a willetized whatever year? We could do a Bourbon County Stout whatever year. I got KBS, CBS. Tell me what you want me to do.
KBS. If you got a KBS of some sort, open a KBS.
All right. I got.
Yeah, you got a Michigan beer there.
Let's do it.
My wife says that's not great, and unfortunately, she's 100% right. In fact, I think I bought this hoping that it would have been something that she did like because she's a huge coffee fan. But just didn't resonate with any of us. Not this particular one, anyhow.
All right, Tom. Here we go. Tom, I'm gonna. I actually love this when it came out.
All right, what
They've
you got?
done it a few times. You might not like it. It is the KBS Maple Mackinac Fudge.
Dude, that is probably the best one they've ever.
That's decadent.
Let's
man.
go, Tom. Come on, buddy.
There's a hazelnut, Todd, that's really good.
Okay.
But I think the Mackinac Fudge.
Yes.
It's Mackinac, not Mackinac.
Oh, Mackinac. What is it? How do you say it? I'm sorry.
It looks like Mackinac, but it's not. It's Mackinac.
Mackinac.
Local colloquialism.
Don't worry, we have a segment coming called Todd Pronounces Hard Words.
Oh,
Because
he said Mackinac too. Shut up.
That,
Don't act
that
behind
is,
me. All right, enough of that.
in my opinion, Todd, that is the end all be all in terms of KBS variants.
Well,
Mackinac Fudge.
Well, CBS to me is the end. I like CBS better than all this, but I'm just saying because that's still Founders.
Canadian, man. It's like
what do you have, Andy? What do you have?
I am trying something that I don't remember who gave it to me, so I apologize if you gave it to me.
Well done.
It's been sitting for a while. It's called Shadow Lifter from Holy Mountain. It's a coffee oatmeal bourbon barrel aged stout.
Look at that.
I have never heard of this before.
Look at that.
So
I've never heard of that.
Oh,
so I don't even know. Does anybody know where Holy Mountain is from? Holy Mountain. My eyes are shit, so I can't even read.
I don't know,
the damn
Andy.
state.
Where did you even get that from?
I don't know. Someone sent it to me and said,
"Here's the problem, Andy. All of our barrel aged beers at my house. So, to Andy's credit here, all of our stuff is over here. So that's the thing."
All right, so Anthony, I've got that bottle, and as soon as it came out, I knew I had to get it. What I didn't realize until later,
yes, Anthony,
I didn't look, is that it's just Dickel that's finished in KBS.
All right, what's wrong with that, though, Tom?
I mean, it's fine, but for the price, come on, it's not $160 bottle.
No, that's true. That is what Founders Bardstown, BC.
All right, I need to figure out where this thing is from.
All right. Well, by the way, Tom,
Google Lens.
Oh, the nose on this Mackinac Fudge. Holy moly! This is from what year is this, Tom? Do you remember?
Probably that's like 22, 21.
I'm looking for it. Hold on.
Look on the back label, kind of in the middle.
22. So it's 3 years. Okay. So the chocolate and coffee is really the chocolate has really come through. Like
that's my favorite one. I think I've got a bottle or two of that upstairs.
Andy, if you could try this right now.
I've had it. I love that beer.
But I think it's actually I haven't tried it. Well, cheers, everybody.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Damn,
this smells amazing, but unfortunately, that's not.
Oh my god! Woo! So
all right, Shadow Lifter,
it's lost her.
Holy Mountain Shadow Lifter.
Oh, so here's the thing, Tom. On this, the maple has come down, that sweetness, but it's accentuated that fudgy dark chocolate note on the bear, and that's really come through here now. 3 years later. So that I kind of like that. The sweetness of the maple has come down, but that fudginess, that chocolate, that dark chocolate, it's amplified. There's a coffee note that's coming through that I really like as well.
I love that one, Todd. This to me just has that I don't know, bittery, like almost like dark fruit raisiny note on the end of
Michigan. I'm moving to Michigan. Screw
Todd, you wouldn't handle the cold very well.
That's true. I don't do that.
Don't tell me it doesn't get cold up by you guys.
Not as cold as Michigan.
It does, but Todd's not good in the cold. Him's just.
Am I good in the heat either, Andy?
It's not. You wouldn't do well.
I'm not good in the heat either, Andy.
You're not good in the heat either. You wear socks on the beach to protect your feet. You're not good in the heat. You need San Diego. You need 70 degrees every day. That's what you need.
And then I don't like California.
And then you'll be fine.
I like San Diego though. San Diego.
All right. So this is really good. Holy Mountain Brewing from Seattle.
Where the hell did you get that?
Somebody sent it to me, and I don't know who. And I feel like I should have. So whoever sent it to me, thank you. And I'm sorry that I didn't review this properly.
Tiffany, yes, your wife.
Oh yeah, Tiffany. That's her favorite, and she's spot on. That is the best KBS.
Oh,
Todd, you'd like this. Shadow Lifter
Not
coffee
as much
oatmeal
as
milk
this.
stout brewed with British Maris Otter, flaked oats in a heavy combination of crystal and dark roasted specialty malts. Milk sugar was added during the boil to balance the roasty chocolate malt profile.
What's it aged in?
This is Elm Roast Coffee Roasters and Nine Swans Coffee.
I guarantee you it's not nowhere near as good as this.
All right, so Tim Cornet, when you hear
That's good.
Todd say Mackinac, do you want to jump out of your skin too?
Oh, I'm sorry. Jeez. How do you say it again?
Mackinac.
Mackinac, which
Mackinac.
obviously doesn't look like it. It's just one of those local things.
How do you say Traverse City? Am I saying that Traverse City?
Yeah, it's Traverse City. Some people will say Traverse, like the car.
Traverse.
It's not
Traverse
that.
City.
It's Traverse.
Todd, what county is Ocean City, Maryland in?
Wacomico?
No.
Worcester?
It's you said you're from Maryland. It's Worcester.
Well,
It's pronounced Worcester. You said Worcester.
That's 200 miles away from me. And come on.
It's good.
All right, Tom.
This is
Tom,
great.
we have to bring you on our channel. We're going to do whiskey. Andy, here's what we should do. Send Tom some barrel-aged beers from Maryland.
Yeah, we
He
can do
sends
that.
us some stuff from Michigan, and we'll do whiskeys as well. We'll send whiskey and barrel-aged beer to you. You send us some Michigan barrel-aged beers that we can't.
Yeah, we're
get
not going
here.
to be help you out as much on the whiskey side, but we can certainly send you some
we
stuff.
can do some
Do you
stuff.
guys get founders?
No, look,
and
we
stuff
can-
up there? No.
We can
Yeah,
do
we get
look.
down.
We can
But
no,
not-
we can do. Let's see. We can do Epic, which he'd
Oh.
like to try. We can
Old
do
Line.
Epic. Are they
Old
still in
Line.
business? I thought they went under.
No,
No,
Baltimore
okay.
Spirit's still doing fine.
Farmer's
We can
Spirit's
do.
still doing good. We can do Old Line. We can do Sagamore, and then barrel-aged beer. We can do from.
And maybe we can. Yeah, we can
I
do.
meant Epic, the brewery. They were like in
Oh no, this-
Colorado or something.
No,
No, this
completely
is this is our distillery out here.
I know. I called
Um,
Dave Ogle's son. It's my Baltimore accent, Dave. God dang it! I
You
call him
call Jonathan Mazziano. You too, while he's on the
Baltimore
show.
Listen,
It's-
I call Dave now Diamond Dave.
I
Yeah,
like
we get
that nickname, by the way, for Dave.
Well, we
I
were
love
thinking, okay, we're going to Pursuit. We're doing a double oak. Dave, it's his first pick. We love 80s. But by the way, there was a question earlier, I think from Sean Kakuski. Tom, what is your favorite 80s rock band? Come on.
See, you guys were into a different genre than I was. You were into
were you
Def
into?
Leppard. I'm guessing you were into what, like Poison?
Motley
and
Crue.
all this stuff.
Motley
Motley
Crue. Yep.
For me, in the mid '80s, I was Run DMC and
Oh.
LL Cool J.
Look,
I went on that tangent.
let me tell you something. R&B, New Jack
Sounds much cooler than
Swing,
us.
rap, all that stuff in the 80s was a million times better than anything today.
Oh,
I listened to all that stuff. I just fell in
Van
love
Halen.
mainly with rock and roll, but shit, Bobby Brown was my favorite artist of the 80s who was a solo artist.
Whiskey.
So I mean it was
Why you
Well, yeah,
say
not
so?
only was he amazing, but he did kind of like if you draw the Venn diagram, I think Bobby Brown covered a lot of different.
So you're not into
I'm-
rock and roll then. You're more R&B, hip hop.
I was, the first concert I ever saw was Run DMC
Holy
and Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Oh shit.
You remember that?
yeah.
So Will Smith, you saw Will Smith.
Will Smith, well, yeah, I mean, but he was
this
the
is
Fresh Prince then.
before he was getting
Dude.
jiggy with it, Todd.
This was before he even had his TV show.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is
This
turning
is what
into
he
a-
had. Parents just don't understand. Nightmare on My Street
Yep.
and all that
I
stuff.
love that.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean,
Public Enemy, they were there. Yeah, it was huge.
GNR Corvette Trey. Yeah. Trey. Yes.
You know what?
Yes.
I went to college with the biggest Guns N' Roses fan ever, and
Was-
I wanted to kill him after about a semester.
I went to college with the Guns N' Roses fan I want to kill every day, and we're still
Okay, so
hanging out 40
Andy-
years later.
All right, so I'm going to tell you this. You tell me if your roommate.
No
was
wonder
wearing
Tom
anything
sent them the
mine.
better blind. That's
My
exactly what happened
college
here.
roommate was such a huge Guns N' Roses fan that he used to have a necklace with a whistle just to fucking blow it every time he listened to Paradise City.
Wow, mine
That
was
is
As
that.
loud as all get out.
Andy, I never did that. I didn't
Mine
do that.
actually wore khaki pants and a sweater with a Maryland
up,
shirt
Andy.
over top of it. Well, I didn't
Shut
say it
up.
was you. I say he's talking about Guns N' Roses roommates. Todd was my roommate for a while in college, so that's what I'm saying.
Until you flunked out of Maryland and went back to Elon because you never went to class.
I didn't like it. It was too big. I went back to a smaller school.
Metal
All right,
music is the best. Yeah, news
so-
about whiskey. Come check us out. We're all about whiskey and rock and roll.
We
Jesus.
actually have a series called Reactionize where we do like reaction videos to all of the Def Leppard songs, which is kind of crazy. We're going to pick it back up.
So that was. Would you say that was a fad or a phase? The reaction stuff, because that was big for a minute, right?
So
no, it was a computer issue.
I was doing the OBS on like crashed, and so we're going to bring that back. Put it that way.
We're trying to review every single Def Leppard song in a video called Reactionize, and we've done like 20, 30, some of them. Yeah,
I got something for you guys before I forget.
Okay,
all right. So I was talking to my buddy Todd, the Def Leppard fan, before the stream.
Todd's
and I said, I asked him, I'm like, is there a gotcha Def Leppard trivia question that I should ask these guys? So give me a second, and I'm gonna come to it.
Oh, I like this. I like this.
Cheers, Chris.
If I can't answer it, then
I'm
it's
gonna
a really hard question.
And I'm gonna preface this by saying,
"Come on, Andy. Come on,
Andy. Probably know it if they're real fans."
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Whatever, right? All right.
Whatever.
Who were the members of the Def Leppard cover band Dead Flatbird?
Oh shit, Andy.
That was actually a Las Vegas show where all 5 members pretended to be a opening act of themselves, called themselves Dead Flatbird, played obscure Def Leppard songs leading into their Hysteria residency where they came back out. So it was that's the big kind of Def Leppard geek I am. So yes. So
only Andy would know that.
I saw it. It was a great show. They're flipping awesome. So yeah. I've seen Def Leppard
I had
30
no
times.
idea about that, but I thought when Todd told me the answer, I'm like, dude, that's fucking awesome. So yeah, I mean, you didn't even have to think about that one.
No Google necessary on that one.
Yeah. So that's a pretty awesome story.
I have I took my daughter this year to see Def Leppard for the first time, and she had a shirt that said my first Def Leppard show, and mine said my 30th, and we went together, and she saw she loved it. It was great.
Tom, listen, I think there's a correlation between whiskey and like music, right? Whether it's I think rock and roll, we love rock and roll, but I think music in general, whiskey and music, just they go hand in hand, I think. No?
Okay, so I agree with you, but why do you say that?
Because I love whiskey and rock and roll.
So they're two common interests, but why? What makes them?
I think a demographic that drinks whiskey like us, also grew up in a time period where music was really important and like sort of
Roger rules.
No, and it spoke to you, right? Music spoke to you, and now that we're drinking whiskey, I think
music. I think music in general does.
Todd, I was waiting for you to get there. You kind of did, but not really. The common denominator is there are things that bring people together, right?
There you go.
What I like about music, honestly, when we do, so we say beer, bourbon, rock and roll with whiskey. You know what? Some whiskey you like, some whiskey you love, some whiskey you're like, it's not my favorite. But for the most part, you're not crazy passionate to the point where you're like,
awesome.
Wait a minute, you're telling me you love New Holland? I hate New Holland. Like you're ready to get in a fight with a person because music is different. There's a passion about music that when people really love something and it speaks to them, they. I mean, look, I share no worries or anything. Like I love Def Leppard; they're my favorite band of all time. And I preach it. And if someone argues with me, it's fine too.
No.
But what I like
way
is how passionate people get about music. Because at some point, that band, that song, it touched you in some way. A lot different than whiskey or beer can. And it brings a different element to our streams where people can start. We see people battling. I hate this. I love this. I hate this. I love this. Which is fun because it evokes emotion. And that's what I love about music.
You know what? You said it, Andy. And there's nothing quite like when, you find a band or a song or an album or something that just connects with you, right? And you want to share that with everybody. And it's kind of the same with, a new brand of whiskey or a release or something. You're like, wow, this is amazing. I got to share this with Todd, or I got to share this with, whoever else had a name from the 70s that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? You want to share it with everybody, and if it resonates with you, it hits you in the inside, and you want it to elicit that same emotion with everyone else.
I mean, look at Marty right there. I've seen Metallica 53 times and been backstage 19. That's incredible.
That's insane.
And
19 times. How do you get backstage 19 times in Metallica?
Well,
have you ever heard Marty? Have you ever met Marty in person?
I mean, Todd, I don't know if
No,
he is,
we haven't. But
okay, so what I'll tell you this is Marty is like the mayor of wherever you're at. I don't know how to explain it.
For sure. We love Marty, by the way. We go at him because we love him. But yes,
he's also a Whitesnake junkie. He loves Whitesnake. Marty is one of his favorite too. But
music can turn emotions into a color. I mean, yeah. Marty, that I think you're getting where I'm trying to get.
We jived. That's one of the things that connected Marty and I initially was that we had this commonality of music and a passion for it. It didn't have to be the same band, but it was a passion for music. And music is something that is just very personal. I love that you said Run DMC and you were talking about like that was your first kind of like.
Oh, jeez.
It was just so funny that I mean, like
holy shit, that's awesome.
I was the biggest like Bobby Brown, New Jack Swing, like Guy. If you remember that band, I don't know, Tom, if you remember them, like those.
I remember Guy.
It's like yeah. So like I loved that style of music, and then I'd switch over and I'd listen to, Bon Jovi and Motley Crue, and then shit, I love Belinda Carlisle. Like it was like everything you could possibly throw together, and it was just.
I can get down with 80s pop, and the 80s pop trivia. Like I can name just about every one-hit wonder. That speaks to me. It's just it is so random. Like I never bought a Belinda Carlisle album, but if a Go-Go song comes on, I know it. I can guess.
I had her poster on my wall. I did think she was also pretty hot, so I loved her. Susanna Hoff from the Bengals. I kind of had a little crush on them. So, but I mean but music was different back then too, because you were listening to I can remember the first album I ever bought was Michael Jackson's Thriller. That's the first. I went into Waxy Maxie's, took my money, and I bought an album.
Vinyl or cassette?
Vinyl. That's the first album.
Oh wow! Okay.
That's how old Andy is.
Yeah.
First cassette I ever bought was Slippery When Wet from Bon Jovi, and then the first. And then the first.
Andy, what grade were you in when Slippery When Wet came out?
Slippery When Wet came out in '85. So Todd, we would have been in
9 years old.
Okay. All right. Just try to gauge how if I'm older than you or younger than you.
9 or 10 years old. And then the first CD I ever bought was Queensryche Empire in 1990. That was the first CD I ever bought. So I can remember vividly like which ones I bought.
You skirted the question earlier by saying Run DMC. What is your favorite 80s rock band? Come on.
All right. So at the risk of being embarrassed, I don't give a shit anymore. I who I like? I like fucking Duran Duran.
Oh, well, I don't think
they're great.
And in the 80s I loved them, and early in the 2000s they came here to Pine Knob. I went to see them with my wife
fantastic.
And my sister-in-law.
But they were phenomenal.
They put on a hell of a show, and these guys
love it
in their twilight. And I like Duran Duran
for sure. I mean, Rock and Roll. Yes.
No, they're a fan. They've got a great catalog. And Duran Duran is a band that I think
Roger Reed's Night Ranger.
I think some people. Duran Duran is one of those categories where you don't realize how many songs and hits they have until you hear them live, and you're like, "Wow, they've got a billion hits! Like they're really good."
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Fuck Seagulls, by the way. Yeah.
You know what?
Do you like Fuck Seagulls?
You can remember, Andy, the first record you had and the first cassette you had. I can remember the first record I had, and it was Dire Straits' "Brothers in Arms."
Nice.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
And as far as the first cassette that I had.
I don't remember that.
I think it was. This is funny.
So old.
I think it was Weird Al Yankovic in 3D.
How do you
remember?
Like
around my
I have no idea.
4th grade or something.
I mean, music was different back then. You just had.
Who are you singing tomorrow? Who is he singing tomorrow?
Jeff, is it Guided by Voices?
Are you singing Duran Duran tomorrow?
Somehow my first show that you're so excited about. Is it Metallica? Metallica's on tour right now.
Who are you seeing tomorrow, Jeff?
Jeff, yeah. But who are you going to see, buddy?
Oh,
Rio
David from Pursuit
There you go.
Kiss Alive. By the way, I think
Girls on Film. Yeah.
Kiss is legendary. And I don't think us as 21090 give them enough respect.
Oh, I love Kiss. I've seen Kiss a couple times. They're great. Yeah.
But
Yeah, they're good.
David from Prescription Bourbon said, Kiss a lot. Yes.
I
Kiss
never
was-
cared for Kiss.
Oh, come
This
on.
wasn't one of my jams.
I
some
didn't
things
appreciate
resonate, some things don't. I
Tom.
never liked Kiss.
I didn't appreciate them either until I got older, because like their
Listen
bands,
to
like
their
their bands, I never
Ah.
appreciated. And when I got older, I was like, gosh, they're actually really good. Like, and Kiss was one of them. Like Twisted Sister,
Sabbath.
I couldn't stand them. I
I
still
could-
can't stand them.
I can appreciate Kiss as the marketing machine that it is, but as far as the music goes, I mean,
What's up,
what
Big Daddy?
Detroit Rock
Cheers,
City,
brother.
I guess. That's it.
You know what, Tom, it's a great point. Sometimes I feel like music should be like whiskey tasting blind. You should just be able to listen to the song.
Oh,
and
ZZ Top.
a lot of that,
Oh,
a lot
that's
of
a
that,
good one.
a lot of that
ZZ
80s music,
Top.
especially if you look at some old videos from the 1980s and you look at the way these people looked, you're like, this is garbage music. But if you never knew what they looked like and just heard the song, you're like, that shit's good. And that's kind of the funny thing about as you get older, you appreciate the musical talent. These guys, some of these bands that people laughed at, like especially in the hair metal genre, these guitarists were so good they would blow your mind. But as soon as '90s grunge hit, anything from that era was thrown under the carpet and said this is terrible, and you listen to it. So, it's music is the most subjective thing,
Sure.
and the most emotional thing, and I love that about it.
And people are the most passionate about it. So yeah, my
Yeah,
wife, so
absolutely.
ZZ Top. I don't remember if it was, and maybe she remembers, but maybe I can't for the life of me right now. I don't know if it was a YouTube video or a TV show or something that it was maybe a documentary about ZZ Top. And I swear it was like the most fucking interesting thing I ever watched.
Those guys were.
And I was never like a huge ZZ
I've
Top
seen
fan, but
ZZ
like
Top
looking
live
back and like
with
man,
Extreme
they
Idiot,
really
the
had a
Ball Arena.
lot of hits.
I've seen them live.
They did that. The Aerosmith's the ultimate band like that, where you're like, I mean, you can't name all their songs, but as soon as they play, you can name every single one. Like, oh,
Yep, you remember them, like, when they
I
come
know.
on
What is
radio.
Marty saying about Rat, for example? Marty? What's that in
A
retrospect?
band that as you get older, you appreciate how good they are, and I
Rat's
think
top
yeah.
10 80s band of all time for sure.
Rat?
Oh my God, yes. Rat's amazing. Rat is so good. Warren D. Martini,
Tour Money was made.
Stephen Pearcy,
Okay.
Bobby Blotzer. Yes, a great band that actually probably should be bigger than they were, but they were big they were huge. Rat was huge, selling out arenas in the 80s.
I can't dispute that they were huge. I mean, there were a lot of bands in the 80s that were big that they weren't my jam.
Well, you like Run DMC.
I didn't
like,
care for Poison.
Yeah.
I can look backwards and say, wow, they had a
Poison.
lot of hits, but
Poison
it
was
just
great.
wasn't stuff that I
Well,
liked.
that's the other thing. When you see bands live, and it doesn't have to be rock bands, you can appreciate the talent. And I mean, I'm going to sound
David, yes.
The showmanship. Right?
It's all about how you bring it live.
That's the hill, yes.
That's what I love. And so
Top Jimmy,
people
for sure.
laugh at me because I am the biggest rock fan in the world. I've seen, this is going to be funny, but I've seen Barry Manilow like probably 15 times because I used to go with my mother. I used to go with my mother every year. It was like this mother and son bonding thing that we did. Like I went with my mom and I was like, I'm not going. And I was like, but damn, he's a good showman. I was like, and so like I saw him in Vegas like 2 years ago and I was like, he's a killer
Reese.
showman. You
And
can't
you
deny
appreciate that?
What was that?
And you can appreciate that, right?
And you appreciate it. It's like I don't care. I'm like I'm almost 50. I don't really give a shit if people think it's groovy. Like I don't care.
Tom's wife loves Barry
See,
Manilow.
there
you go.
And he's amazing live. He still sounds fantastic. I'm like shit, this is good stuff. It was the same thing. My wife, we went out a couple years ago to Vegas to see U2 at the Sphere. They were amazing.
Oh, wow.
And then I wanted to go see the Jets play in Winnipeg.
shit,
That's a
Dave.
whole other story. So we saw the Jets play the Knights. The next night we saw Backstreet Boys in Vegas. They were phenomenal. And I was like, you guys, I'll see anyone musically
quick.
as long as they're good. And that's the thing. You don't know. Go ahead.
No,
Grand Funk
Roger
Road?
Reese. No, well, first of all, he saw
Black
ZZ
Crows,
Top
okay.
with Black Crows. How great
Yeah.
of a concert was that?
That's a great concert.
ZZ Top and Black Crows, that would have been
Yes.
insane.
And then Dave says he's so old he saw Grand Funk Railroad as his first concert. And Dave, that's pretty old.
I love Dave. I love
Dave is the best. Dave is the
But look at
best.
Jimmy said my first. It doesn't surprise me with his album, with his
Van
avatar there.
Halen.
But
Okay,
with Van Halen.
so Jimmy, was that David Lee Roth or was that Sammy Hagar?
That album cover's telling me that's David Lee Roth. That's I could
yes.
be wrong, but yeah,
What album cover is that? That's not OU812.
That is
that's 80. That's 84, isn't it?
yeah, in 1984. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that just Van Halen? Van Halen? What's that?
Oh,
What album is that?
he would know. About,
That's 1984, isn't it?
I think it's 1984. That's,
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what
the album's called 1984? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There are they've got their super fans.
So Marty saw Ray Charles as his first concert. I didn't.
No, I don't think he did.
God,
he's messing with you. Todd. He's messing with you. Todd.
I didn't read it
The
all.
first concert he ever saw. I don't think he saw me.
God damn it,
Todd.
You're
so good.
I read it. I didn't read it.
He gave you some rope, Todd, and you hung yourself.
I do that a lot, Tom. You'll see that. God dang it.
Marty, well done. Well done.
Man.
What does Jeff say? Do you guys keep up with new releases and new bands? Gets so hard, but I still grind it out. Similar to keeping up with new whiskey in many ways. Jeff, I'll be honest, I don't. I find that I when I want to listen to a playlist, I go to something 80s, something 90s, maybe something early 2000s. But as far as keeping,
do you listen to anything from now though? Like I don't listen to any music.
So
like,
yeah,
you turn on the radio and say, "Oh, let's listen to what is hip today."
When I did, Todd, it was when I had Sirius Radio and I would listen to like Alt Nation, and they would have like new stuff as well as some older stuff.
Yeah, but that's not
it's not the same.
You're talking new artist. I mean,
yeah.
I think. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So I have a 12-year-old daughter, or going on 12, and who's a big Swiftie in the whole 9 yards. I've suffered through more of her music than I've had to endure taking her to school and all these things. But some of the stuff's not bad, but it's not the same. The quality of music, even from an instrumental standpoint, pardon me, is just not the same. That's the part that kills me. It's just, and I think this is just us getting old, because our kids are not going to feel the same way. That this is just us showing our age. But I'm not hearing these like really intricate like musical, drum beats or guitar solos or anything like that. I'm just like, it's just not the same. It doesn't resonate to me. Now I'll say this: I'm a big fan of a lot of European new music that I've been looking up, because we used to do a segment called "Should Have Been a Hit."
Where do you even hear all this stuff, though, Andy? What do you listen?
I can only say thank you to Amazon, because it picks up on stuff that I like and it will recommend music. And I'm like, where is this band from? Yeah, and so it pulls in, and I get all this new music that comes from Finland or Switzerland or stuff like that, and they have all this stuff that basically would be categorized as 80s rock today. And I'm like, damn, that's awesome, and it would never take here. It's huge over there, but it would never take there.
How old are your kids, if you don't mind me asking?
11 and 7. And so the 7-year-old could care less about music. The 11-year-old's all about it. And her musical taste is, she loves my music. She's a huge 80s rock fan, but she also likes the new stuff that I can't really stand.
All right. So here's something cool. And this is something you'll probably hit at some point, whether it's, in the next couple of years or maybe even further down the line. But my son somehow, Tyler, the one that was on earlier, the one helping us with the stream, his musical taste is all over the place, but some of the stuff that he likes is 90s stuff that I was huge into. Like, for an example, Smashing Pumpkins. That was one of my favorites, like, through college. He somehow discovered them, and I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I think it was last year. We went to a concert. My wife bought tickets for me for my birthday, I think, and she hates Smashing Pumpkins, so she's like, yeah, take Tyler. So I'm there with my son, who's 30 years younger than I am, and he knows all their songs. And to me, that was, we talk about something that just kind of hits you, some music connects with you, and you want other people to feel the same way that you do about a certain band or a certain album or a certain song. That was incredible.
That's cool. And,
we went to the concert, and we had a blast. And it ended up actually getting called early because it was an outdoor venue, and there was like a huge storm. So it was called after like a couple hours. So, we're leaving, we're driving home. He was so upset that the concert ended because they didn't play like these 3 songs. And I was like, my God.
Oh, man.
That's incredible.
Isn't that cool, though? Because it's so funny.
Really is. And you will have some point in the future where your kid or your kids
get
into something that you like just that much.
I think that's what was fun. Like people laugh at me because like I'm unabashedly, I don't care if I tell people what I like. And so when I tell people like I've seen Barry Manilow 10,000 times, they're like, "Are you kidding me?" Like blah blah. I was like, "Look, would I choose to listen to him on my own? No." But my mother basically played the hell out of it when I was in the crib as a kid. And for my 18th birthday, she gave me like his greatest hits volumes 1, 2, and 3. I'm like, what the hell kind of gift is this? And then listen to the songs like, oh, and all the words to this and this and this. Shit, I think I like it. And we're going. So I'm going. It's a bonding moment with your parents. But then you fast forward, and then last year I take my daughter to go see Journey open up for Def Leppard, and she's singing every single song, and you see people twice my age who could be my grandmother. You see people who could be my parents' age, people who could be my daughter's age. Like it's so generational now. That's the cool thing about music. And I absolutely loved it. And she knew all the words. She's like, Dad, this is so much fun. I absolutely loved it. I want to go to more concerts with you. And I was like, hell yeah, that's fun. Like this is really cool. So I think I'm with you on that. I think that's a really neat experience.
It is.
And way to fun. It's fun.
It just happens organically. And it's like, wow, that was insane. Hey guys, here's real quick. Have you guys heard of Whiskey Weather?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Weatherman turned whiskey aficionado.
Well, yeah, he's a weatherman turned whiskey tuber, and his name's Brandon. And here's why you should be supporting him if you're not already. He just went full whiskey tube. Like he's no longer doing the TV gig.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
And Brandon, you can tell me if I'm talking out of turn here, but I guess the deal was, and again, Brandon, tell me if I'm wrong. They offered him his most recent contract, and as part of the terms, they said,
I heard this.
You can't do the whiskey tube thing anymore. And he's like, you know what? Okay, I just won't sign the contract.
Oof.
And he's going full whiskey tube.
Love it, man. Come hang out with us, man. Come hang out here, hang out with us. Yeah.
Question for Whiskey Weather is, which is his favorite?
He's got
80s
the
rock
TV
band?
chops. He's really good. His content is insane. Like he's got a couple of buddies that help him with the channel.
That's great.
The production is off the chart. So he's, definitely a rising star in the whiskey tube community. So go support Brandon if you
absolutely. And I think that's awesome because you know what, a lot of channels come and go. And you want to support the ones that are going to hang in there and just stay.
Speaking of coming and going,
Jesus.
Look at this guy. Speaking of coming and going,
oh my goodness, we've been hacked.
Speaking of coming and going,
this stream has turned me to drinking freaking root beer.
Yes.
Hey Tom, before Marty says anything,
here you go, Brandon.
Can you go over this?
Contract, and they told me 8 days later I couldn't do it anymore after I resigned. Okay, so there you go. So it's close, right, Brandon? Yeah. Not too far off.
Good for you,
Tom.
Brandon.
what was Marty's score? What was my score? I just want you to read. I forgot again. I just
Marty. How easy was his blind? Marty, how easy was his blind? How easy was his blind?
Oh, now it's easy
when you so freaking old Forrester.
Michter's, old Foresters. I mean, come on.
Let's
be honest here. He got a really easy blind.
You know what? Envy is one of the 7 deadly sins, boys. I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to tell you that it is one of the 7.
I'll be honest here.
I think it's great.
Hey, Marty, it was fair and square. I tell you,
dude, I love it. I love it. Just as long as I can hang in on second place, because you have now a first and 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually have a triple final.
We do.
Ooh.
When's this end? When does this end?
You know what? I think at some point during
oh my God! I am the biggest fan of Whiskey Weather ever now.
Whiskey Weather is pandering to.
There we go.
21090. Come on, we need to.
There we go.
Collaborate here. Let's go. Let's go.
Cheers to Brandon, man. That decision, buddy, and everything, man. Here's to you, man.
Rock on.
We'll support you, buddy.
By the way, Marty, can I say you're looking even sexier than the last time I saw you?
Shit!
Is that a visor that you've got, Marty?
You can.
Marty, what are you drinking, Marty? What are you drinking,
Baseball hat, a golf hat. I mean,
that's the Whiskey Nose sun visor.
Oh, geez.
You can buy them at whiskeynose.com right now.
But I'm drinking
flying off the shelf.
The Evernorth. You got me from. I can't ever say that right.
Piccolos.
It's not our pick, Andy. Don't worry. It's not our pick.
This
Don't worry.
is
It's not our
Sagamore.
pick. Don't worry. We just dropped those, but Marty don't have that one. It's somebody else's. That's all.
I,
Good.
I think I grabbed that for you, right, Marty?
I
did.
appreciate
That's
that,
the
Marty.
Yeah, that's the story around me.
Todd's going to give you a hard time, brother.
I mean, like, listen. I mean, we just dropped 2 barrels, and he's got somebody else's. That's all good.
That's what I like about Marty. He doesn't care, Todd. He
Listen, I'm
doesn't
just
care.
tickled it goes quick, man.
I mean, are these
I
guys
love
doing amazing stuff or what?
No, I tell you what, and I don't know if I said this to you guys or to Marty or what, but when the Evernorth stuff sells, that's good for all of us.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
It's good for the community.
Hey,
Everybody
man.
wants the whiskey. It's good for whiskey too, because
I know you've talked about it, Tommy, and Todd and Andy's preached on it for months now, but because we've all bought the bottles before everybody started doing the picks within the groups, but thank God for Dan and Sean keeping this stuff reasonable. They could jack it up.
Oh my God.
They could jack it. This could be $115 bottle all day, and it would probably still fail.
$64.99. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but $69, $79 for some of these things, or most all of them. Come on.
Let me tell you something too. The nice thing is, honestly, they're huge. Okay, they're the whiskey channel that everybody aspires to be.
Sure.
They've got great content.
Awesome people.
We were dumb enough to go up against them on Tuesday nights, unwillingly
know
not knowing, and just got our asses kicked and handed to us. But let me tell you something. You want to talk about 2 down to earth guys? Like, they are 2 of the nicest guys that we have met in the industry.
Yep.
The interview I did with them was hysterical because I was like, let's just keep it loose and be funny. I was like, so these are the guys that compete against us. I don't know if you've heard of them before. Like, and they played along, like, just running. They were just wonderful guys. They're just good people. They do. They understand, like, what this industry is about, and that it's all about people wanting to come back. We say people before product all the time. Yeah, Evernorth does some great stuff, but they're better people. That's the recipe for success. And
so Andy, here's what's interesting. We went a couple of weeks after you did, and Tyler, my son, came with us.
Nice.
He was my designated. He drove, obviously.
Very smart.
But also he's shooting, content while we're there. So we got a whole bunch of footage. But at the end, we're driving home, and I'm just like, hey, as someone who didn't drink the whiskey and is kind of on the outside, sort of looking in here, what was your favorite part of this, pick here at Evernorth? And he's like, at the end, we were just kind of hanging out, and Dan was talking about the industry as a whole and how, I think his quote is, rising tide lifts all ships, right?
Yep, for sure.
He went on for a bit, and he's like, yeah, it's like really inspirational, Dad.
It's awesome.
And I was like, you know what? That was actually my favorite part too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they could not have been more gracious. And actually, I'm finding more and more people in the whiskey world, which is why I'm liking working with some of these smaller distilleries, as opposed to, like, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I've got a Jack Daniel's pick or Knob Creek or whatever, but working with some of these distilleries where you truly get to know the people behind the bottles, that's awesome to me, because it just makes the story of sitting around.
Right. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, part of what whiskey is the stories, the background, the origin story, right?
I mean, I love being able to share it with, if someone comes over and I can pull out a single barrel we did and say, hey, let me tell you about that time we went to, Freeland, Michigan, and we just hung out and did these, like, let's talk about this. And it's
in the middle of freaking nowhere, right?
Yeah, and that's what.
So Tom,
you
were with Jeffrey and Dan, and you guys did the pick at Evernorth, 3 barrels. I mean, that's what happened to us, Andy. We didn't try that MGP barrel, like just came off the truck. You loved it. Dan was like, I love this barrel. Let's split it. You're like, well, I wanted a whole thing, and it's the same thing with Jeffrey says. They don't care. They have access to such great barrels.
Well, and Sean alluded to that too. He was like, you know what? Yeah, Dan was kind of like Josh and you guys a little bit like, I'll take it, which he would have. But at the same time, he's like, we want to showcase what we're doing. We want this to be something special for you guys.
They want it out there. Again, the more that we're all putting it out there, that's only helping them.
I think that's the other thing that I think is important.
A rising tide.
Real quick, Tom, for your and Jeffrey and Dan and whoever else was on that pick, when will those Evernorth barrels be out, you think?
You know, Jeff might be better to speak on this than I am, but I suspect we did 2 picks. We did New Holland, and then we did Evernorth. So from New Holland, we got 1 barrel coming. From Evernorth, we got 3. I think the Evernorth stuff is going to hit a lot quicker than the New Holland.
About a month for ours.
September for the New Holland.
Okay. Yeah, the New Holland stuff. And here's the deal with that: the barrel that we picked was like 7 months, or 7 years, 10 months. And so Dan seemed to really wanted to get to 8 years.
Yeah. Okay.
So in order for it to get to 8 years, it's got to drop sometime in September because it has to be in the barrel until August. So when it's in there till August, it'll be there 8 years.
So Tom and Marty, tell me a little bit about the New Holland experience. Like, what was that like? Because I'm always intrigued by going to these different distilleries because we have never done a pick where we haven't gone in person, and that experience plays into the overall final product. I think even from marketing to just how you select it. How was New Holland?
It's interesting. Because for being in craft beer, that it's a bigger.
They're huge.
Brewery.
They're big. Yeah, they're big.
They're the 4th biggest in Michigan, and Michigan has Bells and Founders, and those are just gargantuan, right? So they move a lot of beer, and when you go and do a pick, I'm guessing that some of the experience is you go there, you meet with the distiller, maybe a couple of the employees, and they give you a tour, right? So we do the tour, and it seems like 80 to 90% of what's going on in the facility, it's the beer stuff, right? So it's still their
it's their bread and butter. Yeah.
So we go through, we see all of the equipment, and we get to the there you go, Jeff. Jeff says next month for the.
It's not long. It took us about a month for ours too. Yeah, for sure.
They turn around pretty quick because obviously they're
very quick. Bourbon Outfitter had them very quick.
But you see all. To me, the impression that I got was they built a little bit at a time as they got bigger and adapted. Like it wasn't like going to Maker's Mark or Heaven Hill and you see all the all the whiskey stuff and then the Rick House. It was hey, there's some beer stuff. Hey, there's some pallets of beer stuff. Hey, there's some malts. It's just kind of like that. You can see that they got bigger with some of the beer stuff and then some of the spirits. It's kind of hodgepodge, but they had some really cool spots like that. They've got their pot still, and they had this giant unit that has the walleye stuff. We've actually got a lot of footage that we were combing through earlier. We're going to put a video out that kind of walks us through that pick. So watch for that. That's just a lot of footage to sort through. But New Holland was awesome. After we did the tour, it's like a separate building just down the way where we walked. I don't know, 500 yards maybe, and then they've got their barrel house, and they had all of the barrels that they had pre-selected for us to sip through and try. And then they, he went and got the forklift, got a few more things that were not up for single barrel picks, but that he wanted us to try, like just some stuff that you're never going to see, like one-offs. So it was really cool. As somebody from Michigan who's been to New Holland, I still had not seen anything like what we saw when we went for the pick.
Nice.
Nice. The people were so nice.
That's awesome.
What I was kind of disappointed about was the pick was in Holland, West Michigan, and this time of year it's like the most beautiful part of the state, and I was hoping that we would go to like that particular tap room after the pick, which is like 10 miles down the road, but I guess there was like some huge parade or festival, and they're like, yeah, you don't want to go anywhere near downtown because of the parking. You can't get anywhere. So instead of going there, we went to Grand Rapids, which is where most of the guys were staying for their Airbnb. and they've got a really awesome facility in Grand Rapids, but it's just not the same like small town experience. It's like a big, huge, like Taj Mahal of like craft beer. Like crap. It's so big, the facility they've got in Grand Rapids. But
it's gotta be cool to see that though, because it's such a large. I mean, we've never done anything that macro before either, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, Andy, is it macro? Yes, but not for the whiskey. It's
No,
not.
not for whiskey.
Exactly,
No
but
way.
you still get to see that beer facility, that side of it, which is kind of neat, which I think is kind of cool.
Honestly, they're not macro for beer either, Andy. I mean,
Well,
they are.
I think they're the fourth biggest in
Andy, they're not
Michigan.
macro.
Todd.
I would say that
Andy, they are not macro.
in
They're not
terms.
macro.
Okay, so if
they're craft. I mean, according to definition.
if there
they're
is
not
a
macro.
hold on, if there is a macro micro category where we're talking about, you can go into any store and find a New Holland pick. I mean, a beer on the shelf. They're there. Same with Dogfish or Sam Adams or Yingling or whatever you want to categorize as non-InBev. Yes, New Holland is in that category. Founders are all there. So yes, they're as macro as the micros are going to get. They're
as
huge.
big of a craft brewery as there
Yes.
is. I mean, I know Founders and Bell's aren't craft anymore because of the size that they've gotten to be, but New Holland is about as big.
Yeah, they're not a heavy seas. I mean, they're just it's different.
Is there another with your all's expertise? Is there another beer brewery that does really good whiskey that comes to mind, like New Holland?
Marty, one of the giveaways I did in the Patreon a couple of months ago was a bottle from Griffin Claw, and they're local here as well. They're like 1/10 of the size of New Holland, and I honestly had no idea that they did whiskey until like somebody on Instagram turned me onto it. I'm like, holy shit, they have whiskey. Yeah, not only that, but they've got like 7-year-old stuff and whatever. So one of the giveaways I did a few months ago was a Griffin Claw, and that's here about minutes away. And they've got a really unique flavor profile, just like New Holland, in that, I think when you're drinking it, it's almost to me like reminiscent of like their stouts or something. It's just, I don't know how else to explain it. It's a really interesting profile for a place that is known for their beer that also kind of parlayed that into making their own whiskey.
It's interesting because I told Tom, Marty, like we've had whiskey from Dogfish. It was not good. I've had whiskey from Stone that was not good. We've tried a Black Butte from, I forget what distillery that was. That wasn't good. Like there's,
where was that
I
from?
have yet
Where
to
was
have.
that from?
I can't remember who it was from. They're great barrel aged beers, but I can't remember outside of New Holland a distillery attached to a much bigger brewery that was putting out such quality stuff as New Holland. I mean,
it's a real interesting animal for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Deschutes, Andy, Deschutes.
That's
Do they
Deschutes, yeah.
wonder? Well, Tom, and Jeffrey and probably Todd and Andy too, but does like somebody like New Holland, do they have like two different like master distillers? Do they have like their beer guy and they have like their
They
whiskey
have to.
guy?
No, Jeff, I want to say the guy that we met. Shit, I can't remember his name.
There's no way.
I think his name was it Pete or Phil, Jeff? But he's like
the
master distiller for, I think, both the beer and the whiskey.
That doesn't surprise me.
Well, hold on though.
Look, people who are master distillers. I mean, like it's the same at Chattanooga. A lot of these, lead brewers come over and they make the best distillers they are because they understand mash bills and how to put things together, yeast strains, all these things. They make perfect head distillers. So that wouldn't surprise me at all, especially since it's not the size of what their beer operation is. And you can replicate a lot of that because you have other people who can hand things off to. So I wouldn't surprise me to have somebody who's supervising both.
Yeah, I think it was the same guy. I think he said he was the
that doesn't
head
surprise
brewer
me.
and head distiller. I could be wrong,
Wow.
Jeff. Be able to correct me here.
That's actually impressive.
You're damn right. I mean, like, if you can handle both actions, man, you're killing it, no doubt.
I think it makes perfect sense though.
Well, Andy, there's a difference though in how you do that though, right? You're especially in the fermentation process. It's a different animal. Completely
sure,
different animal.
but you have the right person to understand that.
Yeah, but
I think the science is still very similar.
The science is very similar, but once you get to the actual fermentation, it's a completely different animal, because with beer you're not distilling it. You are putting it in and you're going, right? You're fermenting it for beer now. With whiskey, you're distilling it. So there's a whole other aspect to that.
Right. I think it's different, but it's the same, if that makes sense.
I do.
Mashing, yes, it's exactly the same. But once you get past the fermentation, it's completely different because you're done at fermentation.
But I think the fundamental science involved is.
And when you get
I
down
agree with you, but there's a reason that if they do both,
there's a reason why I'm not a brewer or a distiller. I mean,
yeah.
Well, you guys coming from the beer side, there's a time to pull it.
Yes,
Time to pull it. That's the skill.
Yes,
but it's why I think that transition. It's why people looking for head distillers pull brewers, because they have that knowledge. They understand what to do, and they pull them in. And it makes perfect sense because it's a natural transition. It makes sense.
Two different people.
Yeah. All right. So Anthony Peters says Town Branch. They brew and distill on the same site. Some are not a fan, but I like Town Branch whiskey. Do you like the Town Branch beers that they put out or not?
Never had them.
Okay, so Town Branch, it's real interesting.
It's like a Woodenville bottle.
The bottle shape is very square, but I mean, they do barrel aged beers. I think, in fact, all of the beers that I've seen from them are barrel aged, and they're like the most random products. Some are real decent. Some are just completely off the wall. Lexington Brewing has a barrel aged style. Town Branch, I think they had the first barrel aged beer I ever tried, even before Founders or Dragon's Milk. It was like a bourbon barrel aged ale. Okay, not a stout, just an ale. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, but I think their entire product line is like a barrel aged, just Pilsner or stout or porter, a barrel aged anything. I don't know if they put out anything that isn't barrel aged. So it's just an interesting outfit. But their whiskey that I've had, I have not been a big fan.
Top Jimmy kind of hit the nail on the head there. My opinion, all products from Town Branch are mediocre.
I think Top Jimmy is a local, so he kind of knows what I'm talking about.
He's had a
ton of barrel aged stuff. Some of it's okay, but most of it's just not stuff you want.
I will say this, though. I'll reiterate it. I've been really impressed with Michigan whiskey. I got to tell you. I mean, Michigan beer we already knew was good. And I'm really impressed by how good Michigan whiskey is as well. We've been dying to do something with Traverse City, but again, Ironfish. We had, I think it was Gandy Road brought a single barrel from Ironfish that was out of this world good. I've had some stuff from 2 James I really liked. And that's years old. That's still very good. So I'm sure they got some older stock now. It's fantastic.
I'll be honest. I'm not terribly familiar with 2 James. I've heard of them.
They're downtown Detroit, and had I had a little extra time, I would have stopped in and kind of hung out there for a little bit. Obviously, Evernorth is there, but I'm impressed by the quality coming out of Michigan. It really is. I mean, yes, they're known for beer, but man, the whiskey is kind of killing it, which is cool.
Tom, you need to send Todd and Andy a good little. I don't know if necessarily it needs to be a blind, but some of the Detroit City bottles.
They each had one.
We each had one tonight. Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was good.
Their stuff is pretty spot on.
Marty, I'd never heard of him before tonight.
I never heard of him or tried him.
Yeah. Tom sent me some in a blind, and then he did the live stream with their distiller, and then he sent me a bottle. Yeah, I've been really impressed.
Never had it.
Anthony Peters said Tom Branch some of the best single barrels he's had, which has been. I mean, and look, I've not tried an American single malt from Tom Branch, so I can't speak to that. Well, we call him the palate because he has got a crazy gifted palate. Anthony does. If he likes it, I'm going to give him a nod and say it's probably really good.
Walker Hines, what's up, Walker?
Corvette Trey said Sherry Cask was awesome.
All right.
Sherry is one of those things that I think can cover a lot of
Youth.
faults or a lot of unevenness. You know,
It's
Sherry
kind of
finishes.
like going crazy high proof. It can mask some deficiencies in a whiskey.
Yeah,
if you
I
do
think
it
that's where I was
properly.
I don't
going.
mind a good sherry, a PX sherry finish. What's wrong with that?
No, I like sherry finish. I think sherry kills.
Speaking of finishes and sherry and wine, Andy, you need to get your ass in gear and do some more good, affordable, findable wines.
Good
We're
luck.
over to. Well, look,
Good-
we'll do. Let's
Good
do.
luck
Let's,
with that.
let's do.
Good luck
What
with
do you,
that.
what
Good
do
luck
you
with
I
look?
know.
What are you
Good luck
talking
with
about, Todd?
Andy, don't tell me. What can we talk about? Come
We
on,
could
Andy.
do
What
that. We could do that easily for a wine night. We did the red. We just do a white.
no, you doing actually
Dude,
reviews.
okay, let's think about this. The last wine night you did, got to remember the live stream. It killed.
Yeah, I agree.
We could do a white. We did red. We can do a white night. Yeah, we can do that. Let's do some. Or we'll do. Oh, you
Or
want
you
me to
could
do?
do some-
Do you want me to do actually
Andy
reviews?
Put me
Yeah,
on that
there you go.
damn.
Andy, do some reviews.
Andy put me on that damn Virginia wine.
There you go.
From,
The Nor-
I'm,
the
I'm
Norton?
not saying wrong things, Andy. I think you would be great at it.
I look, Marty. You know how this is being a sexy beast. Okay.
Oh God. Here we go.
I
Here we go.
don't.
Here we
I
go.
don't.
Jesus
You know,
Christ.
I don't. I'm not as charismatic or as
Jesus.
good looking as Todd. So I have.
That's
I'm
all
not as.
true,
I'm not
sir.
as
That's all
Me and
true.
you'll
comfortable.
do it. Let's
I'm
me
not
and you do it.
All right, so I'll need some help because I can't
Okay.
carry it the way the beautiful
Wait,
bald
what
man
the hell?
can.
I'm getting cut out of this. Hold on.
Todd, you
What
were
the hell's
never
going on?
in on this. You don't like wine. You
Getting
like
cut
you like
True.
you know, peach seltzer and stuff like that, like those
What?
those little like, white claws and stuff like that you like. You know, whatever those things are. You know, the things.
What just happened here?
Those things you bring to Disney World with
What
you.
just
You know, when
happened
you're
Hey
hanging out with
Todd,
Luana.
Yes,
Todd,
yes,
I'll say
Marty.
this. I say
What's up,
this
buddy?
with all fun, and I hate that we missed out on this event. But you know, when you did the
Pete.
video of the P90X, if Andy would have thrown some freaking seltzers and shit in there, dude, that would have been off the rails.
Well, listen.
All right,
I
hey,
know.
5 years
It
ago,
may
you're
be-
right.
I know.
5 years ago, nobody had. If Andy had seltzers, we'd be millionaires because nobody had that back then.
hey, Jeff, what we were trying to remember is, and I think it was me trying to remember, was Pete the distiller for both the whiskey and the beer, or was he just the whiskey? I thought he was both, but what do you remember?
I would find it hard to imagine he would do both jobs.
I don't know.
That's not easy to do.
I don't know, man, but I think once the
You
beer
don't
hit the
know. Are you
point-
kidding me? You're brewing.
You're getting really passionate. about this,
New
Todd.
Holland has a huge
I
assortment of.
almost want it to be both just to see Todd's reaction.
I would be shocked if it's the same person doing both.
Todd, you've seen Scott Van Pelt run Sports Center and do commentary. He can do both. You know, your brethren can do that. You can see people do that.
All
That's
right.
fine. All
Whatever you
right.
say. Whatever you say, guys.
He's
that
at
is
the,
not-
he's at the part of the night where he doesn't like me anymore.
No,
So, yeah,
I'm not saying at all.
you
It's
can
just
see it in
you're
his face.
Andy, I kind of feel like we started at that point.
No, I'm just all right. Whatever.
It's
all good.
Started at that point.
If you think that a brewmaster of as you guys even said, a huge brewery can also then replicate that on the distilling side, it's not an easy thing to do. If they
Well,
can do
that's
it, more
what
power to them.
makes a talented person a talented person. If you can do something that's not
It's
easy
a
to
hard
do.
hat to have. And it's not the same though. It's exact. It's similar but not the same. There's no way it's the same.
At this point, I can't see where Andy's really coming in, or if he's just trying to troll Todd.
Yeah, he's strong,
it's probably up.
Or
It's probably the
maybe
latter.
somewhere.
Yeah, it's probably the latter. He's actually no.
So
I
it's
never tried to
Pete,
get his
who's
goat.
Pete? Pete from New Holland. He is this master
Yeah,
distiller.
he's the guy.
Mhm.
Pete, master distiller of New Holland. That's it.
You're gonna Google this until you find
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
aren't you, buddy? Yeah, he's hell bent
Let's
on
see if
that.
Pete's a brewmaster at New Holland.
Somebody
Let's
fact
do it.
checked. Somebody fact checked Todd here. He's notorious for fake news. So let's make sure we fact check him.
I don't
Looking
know.
forward to having you out. Hopefully soon. We don't count barrels. We hand you a hell yeah, Tom.
There you go. How you doing,
I'm
Tom?
gonna do a cigar. I'm gonna do a cigar blend barrel there.
He was on the whiskey side, but I feel like he grew out of the beer
That's.
side.
I'm not arguing that at all. I'm sure that happened. I'm just saying I don't think he's doing both.
You know what? I don't know.
Is it like More Than a Feeling from Boston, Todd? Because that's a great song. Like I love that. That's a 70s tune.
Dude.
More
The
than a
brewmaster of New
feeling.
Holland Brewing Company is John Haggerty. He received his brewmaster diploma in 2002 and has worked with New Holland since then. So I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Andy, I freaking love Third Stage.
Jesus.
Why do you get so? Do you feel
because
better?
you're
Do you
like-
feel
you're-
Do you feel
No,
vindicated
because
now? Do
say
you
with
feel
such conviction,
better?
like, oh yeah, I'm sure he is. He does everything. You don't have no fucking clue who he is.
Huh? Of course, I had no clue. But
Yes.
He's
You
got to
said
knock
with
you down a
conviction.
peg, Andy, after scoring the 7.
Well, he had Marty. Let's be honest. He beat you because he had an easier blind. Let's be honest here. Old Forster, Mickner's. Marty, what did you have for your blind?
I think my favorite was the Pingaree.
Yeah,
Tom's
Pingree.
got
There you go.
for you.
I think Marty had that Pingree that you
That's
had,
my
Todd.
least favorite. That's
Todd
my
said he
least
hates
favorite.
it.
I think
That's
I
my least
also had
favorite.
Detroit City,
Yeah, I had that too.
but it wasn't
Mhm.
the. I don't think
So did I.
it might have been the honey finish. I have to go back and look.
Interesting. I had that. You know what's funny, Todd? What did I say the
Oh,
when
Marty
I
had
first
it.
came
He was
on?
also high. You had. That's good, Andy.
I've
Marty-
got your answer key saved, Marty. Let's see if I can find out what it was.
I'm just,
Marty,
That's
Todd
okay.
got upset because I was pulled up before he was introduced.
that is true.
And
That-
it
that-
has
no.
he has been sour. He is so
Yes,
used
true,
to
Marty.
be
You understand
he's-
that, Marty, right?
He's got this prima
You understand
donna
that, Marty.
thing
You
where he
understand
just wants to
You
be.
understand that.
Look, John Bon Jovi wants to go
Listen.
solo. Unfortunately, he has no hair, and Richie's better,
Tell
and
me that
it just
drank my
hasn't. It
whiskey,
hasn't worked
too.
for him. So
For the,
Yeah, but as soon as Todd said "shit," I drank them all.
yeah,
I immediately put in chat, Todd, I did the same damn thing.
All right, so Marty, you've had those in other flights I've sent you, but as far as what you had in the contest, you had a Heaven Hill Select stock that was an Armagnac finish,
Ooh.
Oh,
a
okay.
Whiskey
that was
War
easy.
barrel proof,
Ooh.
a Michigan Mammoth Woolly Rye,
Yeah, let's keep that shit going.
and then
Yeah.
Dragon's Milk Origin.
Yeah, good job, Andy.
What did I have again? I don't even remember. I don't even remember. And he had Old Forester 1924. Yeah, he had.
Well, hey, that Heaven Hill Select stock, that's a $150 bottle.
you know, here's the funny thing is, guess what? They were blind, and I got them right.
You damn right.
I got them
You know
right.
what? You're right.
So,
man. You're
who's
right.
got 2 thumbs and is in first place?
Oh my
This
God.
guy.
Somebody beat this
Right.
motherfucker, will you? Jesus Christ. Jesus. Yeah, next time don't drink all your whiskey. Well,
I still have whiskey left.
God damn it.
Todd downs it.
Todd, I
Look,
got you, dog. Todd,
Look.
I'm on your side. I did the same thing.
I know you are,
Nice,
but I've
Todd.
also
But you had,
texted.
but you know what though, Todd? In my defense, I had
See, there you go.
competition.
Top Jimmy rules. Best show I ever saw
Yeah.
was Rich Sambora solo.
What
Yeah,
you
but
saying,
I had
Marty?
easy competition. I was against the Hawk, and it was the first show,
That's
Oh.
true.
so I had an easy competitor. So
That's
you know.
true.
Oh,
No.
poor Hawk. Oh, that's-
Man, whoa. He's a
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Trust me,
Not catching strays, not
that
even
bald-headed bastard would say the same thing about me. So,
Exactly
you know,
right.
see, just like my bald-headed bastard. It's just I
See?
can't get away from him.
That's,
That's
why
the
we're in
problem.
first and second, Andy.
Marty,
Yeah.
when are we ever going to do a pick together, Marty?
I just whenever you set it up, man, fly me in, and you know.
Fly
you
in.
in.
I'll be flying out. and we'll,
$2,000
fee.
What do you?
we'll be
Did you
I'll
not
be
hear
flying
we had-
out.
We used our business card and it bounced when we were in Virginia last week. By the way, because we had no money in the account. That's what I'm just saying. about
Technically, part of that was my fault because I kept drinking too much beer.
that. And he didn't
So
remember
that-
we ate twice at that. Oh God.
It
we
was
have
it was the last game of the Jets playoff game, and I was enjoying it.
So
and it
here's
was
the.
just,
Here's, let's set this up real quick, Tom. I know you're like get these guys off.
I know.
We went down to Middlesburg, Virginia for the reveries. We were with Jay. We had a great, amazing time.
So that's not too far from you, right?
About an hour away. So
Hour
not far.
and a
Not
half,
far at
yeah.
all. We can drive.
Yeah.
We took an Uber there. Whatever. It's in the middle of nowhere, Virginia, by the way.
Yeah.
So whatever. We get done from that. Andy's favorite hockey team is the Winnipeg Jets.
Okay, why? That's so fucking random.
it is random, but
sucks.
it
It's
is.
terrible. That's why.
It's not sucks. They were the President's Trophy winner this year. Marty, stick with whatever badminton or whatever you like.
Oh, by the
there
way,
in England.
Josh
It's
Fritz,
like-
I also said that
Pickleball.
ECBP is overhyped. I don't hunt it anymore. Andy, when's the last ECBP you bought? Go.
I had so many of them. I don't know. It's been
But
2
when's
years.
the last one you bought? When's the last one you bought?
Probably C923.
Yeah,
wow.
that's probably right. Marty, how about you?
C924.
Oh,
Same here.
Yeah.
I didn't buy
Me too.
A125. I got a sample from Russ.
Do you
but
remember like how like every year it was like I have to get it now? Are you like that much? Like are you that
Yeah,
much
no,
more?
I didn't buy. I've got this much in a bottle of A125 because Russ gave it to me to review. I didn't buy it.
Right. I didn't even buy
I
24
think
on
from
that.
what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, B525 is worth picking up.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But you know what though, Todd? I'm more on the larceny kick right now than I am the Elijah Craig. I like that weeder. I like that,
Hell
that
yes.
finish of the
Andy, we
heat
were on
and
that
the
before,
pepper.
right, Andy?
I think I'm more likely to get the Mash and Journey pick than I am to buy the next
That's
BCT.
probably a great. That's probably a smart move right
I've
there.
gotten to the point now where all I want are single barrel picks from people I trust, because I think that's the way to go. I don't want to hunt.
As far as stuff I
LK
want,
doesn't work. It just that's
as far as stuff I want, Andy, I'm with you. But as far as stuff I got, I got to review shit. I'm not going to review.
Well, that's the problem too. Yeah, that's true too. But
Andy does other stuff. I do, but that's okay.
Yeah,
I've got every single Elijah Craig back to 2017, and so I mean, I don't care about keeping it going now. I really don't.
I don't either.
I've got 37 freaking bottles of Elijah Craig.
That was my problem. You know
Andy.
what? I didn't want to be the Cal Ripken Jr. of Elijah Craig. I didn't care about the streak.
Andy,
at some point, I was like, I'm done.
That's more than me and you will drink in a lifetime, just in those bottles.
I've given so many away on streams as a giveaway. I had so many.
Yeah.
My wife goes, "How many of these things do you need?" I was like, "Well, they're all different." She's like, "Really?" And I was like, "Actually, probably not. I can't.
Well,
I
no,
can't
there are
tell
some
anymore." Yes, there are, but you know what? To stand out head and shoulders above
Not
the rest,
recently.
it was next to
Not recently.
impossible. It was just too much.
I agree.
And Marty and Tom, I don't know about you, but us in Maryland, they often go for like $99.
Nah, hell no.
No,
I'm not kidding you.
I think they're about $75 here.
I agree with you, but Andy, in Maryland, they're usually $89, $99.
Maryland's expensive.
So you're
no
paying
what you're
paying in Maryland, or what's the private barrel picks of Elijah Craig are here.
Exactly. Right.
And
Yes.
And the thing with North Carolina, and Andy knows this, is like, I'm an ABC state, and I can't walk into a store that have all these private barrels. Hey man, let me try that. Sorry, we can't do that.
Here's the problem, Marty. I went to my store here in Maryland. I said, "Do you have A125?" He's like, "For larceny. This is larceny." Yeah. He said, "No." My rep said, until they get rid of, this is the rep from Maryland, Patricia LaJoy, all of their C924s, they're not bringing in larceny.
So here's a good point.
That's
by
a
Jeff.
Great point. Especially
and,
with Todd
you're onto something there, Jeff. We're so spoiled. I don't think people realize how spoiled we are with all the access that we have to picks through all of our channels. I don't want this golden era of picks to end. So hey, you know what, Jeff? Keep picking barrels.
I think this is one thing that may stick around for a while, because I think that there's a whole new market about to open up with people who aren't from the bluegrass state that are going to have things worth getting that want to be showcased. This is the reverse of the craft beer movement, where there was just too much and you were overflooded. This is people coming of age with stock that has been there for a while. It can rival or is better than a lot of stuff that you're getting in Kentucky, but people don't know about them yet. That was the beautiful thing about going out to Atwater, California, and hanging out with David Souza's for a couple of days and trying stuff. Like, holy shit, this is good. Like, people have got to know about this. Since then, Corbin Cash is, I'm not saying it's us, but Corbin Cash has blown up because
it is us.
All of these channels see that, hear that, buy that. We, as influencers, spread the word to a community of people that may not have heard of these distilleries before. I didn't hear about Detroit City before tonight, and now I want to know more about it. I want to try more stuff. Like, this is what's cool about doing things like this, is you get a chance to showcase stuff that everyone else doesn't know about.
Sure.
But there's avenues for it. Unlike beer, like you said, Tom, like, you can't split a beer and send it, like, let's do blind stuff like that. It's too regionalized. But for something like whiskey, you can do this, and you can actually make an impression on a distillery and grow them, and that's fun. Like, that's great. I love doing that. So I think
I'll give you a great example, Andy. I'll give you a great example. I don't know if I think you and Todd have had it, but Limestone Farms from Tom Morrow. I mean, he is killing himself to get this out to this whiskey community, killing himself.
Yeah, there you go. And not just like the big channels, like everyone.
I mean, like, it doesn't matter how big, small you are, but
we've got samples that we haven't done yet.
Yeah,
and that those are the bottles, kind of like what you're hitting on, that aren't going to hit the shelves for everybody, but within the community, the availability is there. That's what's great about what everybody's
and a lot
doing.
of these distilleries understand that word of mouth, grassroots marketing is still the way to go.
Yeah, we got a bunch of limestone farms to go through.
There's nothing more frustrating than going into some cut rate liquor store in any town USA, and they've got all the same shit on the shelves. Behind one pane of glass, they have their Rock Hill Farms and all these things that they're charging $350 for. Like, it's insane how crazy that is.
Yeah.
That you're like, I'm not buying that. That's way too much money. I've told the story on our channel before too, but I remember when Russell's 13 before 15 hit, and it was all the rage. Being in Delaware at a store and asking the lady, I said, I never say anything to people because they're liquor stores, but how can you justify $1,000 price tag for a Russell's 13?
Whoa!
And she said to me, simply because someone will buy it, and that's what's going to kill allocated whiskey, and that's what's going to make single barrels the way to go, because you can't do that, because distilleries won't do that, online distributors won't do that, and it will make it it makes it not worth doing these allocated unicorns that nobody cares about anymore. They just don't. Those days are 3 years ago and they're done.
Thanks, Kyle. Yeah.
So
another great example is Larkin.
Yeah.
Greg's killing it. Me and Tommy did was it just me and you, or did we have just me and you, wasn't it, that did the live?
Yeah. Remember, he was late.
And same exact scenario as Limestone Farms, and it's just, we want to support the young guys that are putting out great stuff. Right now it might be sourced, but their stuff is coming. I'm working with another distillery, Tennessee Hills, back in Kingsport in Bristol, that is sourcing right now 9-year 114 proof MGP bourbon. It's unreal, and his stuff will be 5 years in about 3 months.
Well, while you're talking about it, Marty, we've got another brand coming out in 2 weeks, and I got to send you samples from what he sent me. So you're coming on the 12th.
Cool.
I'll be there.
We'll post more about that coming up.
They're the Turks. There's Katie.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah. Yeah, we're excited about some more.
Katie, the Chattanooga pick is killer. Good job on that one.
Ethan and Katie really helped.
Try to get a bottle if it makes it to the tier that I'm in.
Yeah, it should. We have a huge yield. It's a big yield.
Yeah, I think after all that you sold last week, I think there's more to trickle down.
We'll have a break for a while.
It's good stuff, though. It's great. Yeah, it's good stuff coming. So hopefully it does. Right. It does well. Awesome. This has been fun.
Guys, I got to wrap it. I'm looking at the time. You've been on here for about
3 hours.
I usually go about an hour and a half. I'm looking at the time. It says about 2:51.
Sorry. Sure, buddy. Thank
we
you,
have a sexy beast like Marty. I mean, how can we not?
It's easy to get carried away. And guys, I'll tell you what, I had a blast, and we should definitely.
Great job, you guys.
Thank you, so Marty. I look forward to whatever this next round is. Todd, thanks for trying. I think this has been fun. I think this has been a blast.
I wish I had pictures.
Thanks for trying.
Thanks for playing.
Hey, real quick, Tom, thank you as well. Great time. We'll have you on. Please come on our show. We would love to. And Marty, it's been a while since you've been on our show too, buddy. You're an OG. So when we have you on our show,
he doesn't like us as much as he used to.
Now, y'all smell funny. You don't even have hair, man. Come on.
It's true.
Is it because of Todd? Is it because of Todd, Marty? Be honest.
Yeah, he's weird. He's kind of weird. What? Smells funny, and he wears weird shirts.
What? A Corbin Cash shirt on. Listen, the shirts are the least weird thing about me, Marty. Let's be honest. The shirts are the least weird thing about me.
Is it his haircut?
I tell you what, the next time Todd wears a Whiskey Nose shirt, I'll come on.
Oh,
but the problem is, Andy, when he bought it, he wore a small. Now he wears an XL. So
he needs a schmedium. Todd's a schmedium.
All right, Andy, you have no room to talk. Marty, you don't either. So enough.
At least Todd bought one, right?
There you go.
All right.
Well, guys,
challenge accepted.
I'm going to wrap this up.
Accepted.
Otherwise, we're going to be on here all day.
Tom's telling you to shut up, so you can wrap it up.
I'm about to wrap it up. Marty, appreciate you, brother. Todd and Andy, thank you so much for coming on. This was a blast. We'll talk soon. Marty, I'll be in touch about the 12th.
Yep.
And for everyone that hung out, got in the giveaways, appreciate you hanging out with us. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Stay jerky.
Cheers.
I'm all done.